Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? So good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. We're looking for some intelligent Black people in the room, and I want to welcome everybody to the Emancipation Equation. It's so good to see everybody. I'm right here in Dallas. We're doing the Black Wealth Summit this weekend and hanging out. And I wanted to come out for a second to greet everybody. And so let me see here. Shout out your city in the chat and just say things in the chat so I can know you guys can chat. Okay. Make sure we can see everybody. Let's see. Okay. Tel Aviv out of Dallas, Belinda out of Dallas. I'm in Dallas. Donnie out of Lanham, Maryland. I see Alabama, Tennessee, Montgomery, Alabama, Chicago, Springfield for Leslie, DeAndre out of Los Angeles, Patrick, Sacramento, Perry out of Illinois, and he's put exclamation points. I love it. Alice, Birmingham, Cola from Houston. Let's see, Barbara out of Long Beach, Ebony out of Sanford, Florida, Gregory out of Hollywood, California, L. Brooks out of Houston. Just so many awesome people. It's so good to see everybody. Rosenberg, Texas. I see that. Keisha from Detroit, Roxbury, Massachusetts, H-Town. All right. Well, great to see everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you all came in. And so as you all know, if you've ever been to an Emancipation Equation event, you know that you won't be the same person when you walk out of here that you were when you came in. And I know this because I know the brother that I have the opportunity to spend time with today. His name is Julian Gordon, AKA the Black real estate superstar, AKA the man who helped Black families acquire more than $250 million worth of real estate. Now, let me ask y'all this. Give me a yes or no. How many of y'all have heard of any celebrity anywhere who can say that they helped Black people acquire over $250 million of real estate? I'll wait. Anybody can, yes or no? Does anybody know if it's a celebrity? Anybody know a politician? Any president, vice president, anybody, any pastor, right? $250 million in real estate, man. And so I'm gonna be quiet and welcome Julian. How you doing today, man?
What's going on, Chief? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm still flipping over that number you gave me the other day. $267 million to be exact. Talk about it.
Yeah. So, multifamily movement, we've been pushing strong for about 4 years now. I acquired my first multifamily home May of 2013. It literally changed the financial trajectory of my life. And as Harriet Tubman did, once she crossed the Mason-Dixon line and got free for herself, her number one, she was immediately happy, but then she got saddened. Why? Because nobody in her family had crossed the Mason-Dixon line. She was free, but she was alone. And so that's what inspired her to go back. And so over the course of a decade, she made 19 trips below the Mason-Dixon line and freed 300 people. And that has been my narrative. She has been a guiding light for me, a North Star for me in this movement, because after I acquired my first multifamily home and got free, I got a desire to actually show other people how to do the exact same thing. So to date, we actually had a closing today. So we're at 763 closings nationwide that we're aware of, and average price of a home about $350,000. So that's about $267 million worth of multifamily real estate that my students have acquired over the past 4 years. And the goal is now to get to $1 billion. So that would require about 3,000 closings for us to get to $1 billion worth of real estate acquired. And that would be my legacy.
See, and I love that because your rocket ship is just zooming into the sky. And it reminds me of that book that I have all the students read called An Empire of Their Own. And it was, the subtitle was How the Jews Invented Hollywood, but there's no anti-Semitism, none of that. It was all about sort of applauding the work of that community that was oppressed in their own way, that said, okay, we're going to go create this space that's ours. And out of that movement came MGM, came Fox, 21st Century Fox, Warner Brothers, the William Morris agency that pretty much controls all the Black talent that's out here, right? So effectively, you're starting something that's amazing. And what's crazy is that 267 million is a gigantic number in our community. I mean, nobody can match that number. But what's interesting is that whether it's big or small compared to other numbers, it's nothing compared to what it's going to be in 20 years, 40 years, 60 years, right? When the next generation continues all the great work you're doing. So I love it, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Harriet Tubman led the Underground Railroad, and the Underground Railroad was hidden and in secret, right? But right in front of us is what we call the Above Ground Railroad, right? That is multifamily real estate. It is literally right there above ground in plain sight, right? And if you understand how multifamily real estate deals work and how to acquire them, then you can use multifamily real estate to get free. And so Harriet Tubman has been my inspiration, and I'm happy to share this information with other people. People say, Julian, you could have just kept this information to yourself and you could have been buying up all this real estate yourself. But that wasn't my desire. I have more than enough. My portfolio has freed me. That portfolio has been built over the past 10 years. And now it's time. And my legacy work is to free as many people as possible by not only introducing them to the information, but also giving them the structure and the accountability to implement the information. What I've learned in this financial literacy movement, Doc, is that the truth alone will not set you free. Acting on the truth will set you free. And that's where the gap is. Like 40 million people have bought Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is one of the best financial literacy books of all time, but 40 million people have not bought real estate, right? So there's a gap. There's a knowing doing gap. We know better, but for some reason we don't do better. And that's what the multifamily movement has been able to do, is to crack that code to make sure that people take this knowledge and then act on it, because that's actually what sets you free.
Wow. Well, you know what? I love it. And I also know enough to know when I need to stop talking. And so I hope everybody will say thank you to Julian for coming in and hanging out with us today. And I'm going to go ahead and step on out and let my brother just take over the screen. So floor is all yours, Julian.
Well, thank you, Chief. I appreciate you. What's going on, everybody? B1 in the chat. Type B1 in the chat. Type B1 in the chat. Let me know if you know what that means. We are B1, and I'm just so excited to be here and for Doc to give me his platform to share this information and this opportunity with you all to finally get in the real estate game. For those of you who have wanted to own real estate, please let me know, how many years has it been since you wanted to own real estate, in particular multifamily real estate? How many years has it been for you? How many years has it been for you? 35, 25, 2, 10, a few, 2, 10, 10, 20. So for some of you, it's been decades. For some of you, you've just been introduced to real estate as a pathway to freedom. I see a lot of 5s coming up, decades. All right. So how many of you would like me to show you how to shorten those decades into literally months? How many would like me to shorten those decades or those years into literally months? Whether you know it or not, some of you are literally a few months away from closing on your multifamily home because of the information that I'm going to teach you on this webinar. So I'm so happy that you are here, that you made the decision to show up. Many people signed up for this webinar, but did not show up. And what's happening is that people are information junkies, right? They want to get all the information, but they never take action. And just because you are here, it shows me that you are an action taker, right? That you move quick. When you see an opportunity, you go and move on it. And so I'm grateful to have you here. So the title of today's webinar for the Emancipation Equation series is How to Win in Real Estate During a Recession. How to win in real estate during a recession, how to buy real estate at a discount during a recession. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Julian Gordon. I'm founder of the multifamily movement. My purpose is to free 300 people like Harriet Tubman to pursue their purpose through entrepreneurship in multifamily real estate. My real estate portfolio is worth over $5 million. That's 38 units across the country in Georgia, Louisiana, California, and New York. And that's 38 units. They bring in about $37,000 per month in monthly rent. I built that portfolio in just 8 years. This was not my primary work. Today, I am a real estate investor, a real estate developer, and a real estate educator. I'm actually doing this work in real life. Some of you have seen my work with South Park Cottages and the tiny homes that we are developing out in Atlanta, Georgia. We're expanding that vision. We have our ribbon cutting there. Some of you are familiar with my work in Baton Rouge with the Buy Back Baton Rouge Fund and the work that we're doing out there with Anthony Kimball. So I do this work in real life, but I'm also a teacher of it. Oftentimes, especially for those of you who went to college, in college, you have professors who teach the information, right? And they're great at teaching it, but they're not practitioners. And then there's a lot of practitioners out there who don't know how to or don't love teaching. And so in me, you found the combination of somebody who's not only doing the work on a daily basis, but also a teacher of the work. And so I'm happy to be in that space. And I believe that that is the best kind of teacher that you can have. My properties, since acquiring them, have appreciated by over $1.3 million in their value. And I've raised over $7 million now for several real estate funds all across the country. And I'm committed to helping thousands of students achieve rent and mortgage freedom through multifamily real estate. Now, I want to be very clear with you that I'm not a licensed real estate agent. Okay. I am not a licensed real estate agent, and you don't have to be one either to invest in real estate in the way that I'm going to teach you. Many people believe that you need a real estate license to do what I'm doing, and you do not. So right there alone, I freed some of you who thought you need to go take a test or take an exam. And in fact, by the end of this webinar, I'm going to teach you more about real estate and specific aspects of real estate investing that real estate agents aren't even aware of. Now, before we go forward, I do want to celebrate. Do we have any real estate agents that are here? Do we have any real estate agents that are here? Type me if you're a real estate agent. I see some people raise their hand. Wow. Okay. Beautiful. What's going on? Candace, Anita, Diara, Sandra, Quentin, Terry, Patrick, Tamala, Gregory, phenomenal. Kalea, Eric, what's going on? So we have about 20 real estate agents here right now. And for those of you who are new to the game, you have to ask yourself, why would real estate agents be on a webinar about real estate? The reason why is because many of you do not know. Listen to me very carefully for you rookies, you real estate rookies. Many real estate agents don't own any real estate. Just sit with that. They don't even own the product that they are selling. And here you are giving over the biggest financial decision of your life to someone who does not even own what they are selling you. So these real estate agents are here because they know that their real estate exam or their real estate licensing course or even their broker has not taught them everything about real estate, right? And so they're here to, one, build their own portfolio, and then two, learn this game so that they can serve investor clients like myself who buy multiple properties every single year at a higher level, okay? So that is why these real estate agents are here. So you're in the same boat. You're in the same boat, and this is the knowledge and the game that I'm going to teach you, right? I'm teaching not only you who are new, but I'm also teaching real estate agents how to operate at a higher level, all right? So in July of last year, Dr. Watkins was at our gala in New Orleans, and this is 300 of us who came together to celebrate our 300th closing. I told you that Harriet Tubman freed around 300 people during the course of her life. And so once we crossed our 300th closing of multifamily real estate, we decided to celebrate that huge milestone. And this is us. This is the beautiful family that we know as the multifamily movement and the Black real estate investor group. All right. So now that we've surpassed that number, because this was not my intention, I didn't know that I would be teaching real estate. I started out as a motivational speaker, right? And as I was traveling across the country speaking at colleges and companies, I would take the income that I was getting from speaking and I would put it into real estate. And as I would share my acquisitions on social media, people started asking me, how are you acquiring all this real estate? And I was getting more questions about real estate than anything else. So then I helped my first person close on their first multifamily home. And then the light bulb went off for me that not only did this process work for me, it wasn't a process of luck, right? It was a system that I had created. It was a series of steps that I created. And I'm going to show you as much as I can during this webinar that got people to the finish line. All right. And so now my vision has expanded. And now my purpose is to create the world's wealthiest family by helping 100,000 people achieve $1 million in net worth by 2050 through multifamily real estate and entrepreneurship. Yes, you heard me correctly. My goal is to create one of the wealthiest families in the world. And that family includes the B1 family, right? 100,000 people. Julian, you're just making this stuff up. What do you mean the world's wealthiest family? If I can help 100,000 families achieve $1 million in net worth, we would be worth $100 billion. And today, we would be the 5th wealthiest family in the world. Yes. If I can help 100,000 people over the next, next 27 to 30 years, achieve $1 million in net worth, which I think is doable, right? That would make us the 5th wealthiest family in the world. How many of you would like to be part of the wealthiest family in the world? How many would like to be part of the wealthiest family in the world? My goal is to help you become the most fruitful branch on your family tree. My goal is to help you become the most fruitful branch on your family tree. Some of you came from the mud and you've had to dig it out, but guess what? Guess what you put in dirt? You put in seeds. And so today I'm going to give you some financial seeds, some seeds of wealth consciousness to take root so that you can become the wealthiest branch on your family tree. So just to give you some proof, right, some visuals, I want to show you my actual real estate portfolio and how it developed over that 8-year period. My first property was bought in Brooklyn, New York in May of 2013. That one single decision, that one single property got me to rent and mortgage freedom, right? I have not paid a housing expense since May of 2013. In over a decade, I've not paid rent, I've not paid mortgage, not a property tax, not insurance bill, not a utility bill. Why? Because the rents from the 3rd floor and the 2nd floor of that property covered the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, capex, repairs of a vacancy rate, and left me with additional cash flow while I was living in the 1st unit on the 1st floor for absolutely free. I went from paying expensive rent in Brooklyn to now being paid expensive rent in Brooklyn. I went from having to pay to live to now being paid to live with one single financial move. Once I experienced that, once I started collecting passive income every single month without trading my time for money, it changed my life. And so I ended up scaling my portfolio and buying more real estate in New Orleans, Oakland, right? And I haven't even put my Georgia properties on here yet. Okay. So this is how my portfolio has expanded over that short period of time. Some of you have been working on the corporate plantation for 10, 20, 30, and 40 years and still don't own anything, right? You've been busting your ass, but you have no assets. You've been busting your ass for money, but have no assets that produce money for you. Okay. This is the name of the game. Okay. You do have to work hard. Okay. You work hard to get some free cash, right? What I mean by free cash, they call it disposable income. And that's a trick in the American dream, in the American language, call it disposable income so that you think of it as trash and then you spend it on other things. You spend it on trash. Okay. They call it disposable income, but that is really your financing for you to go buy additional assets so that you can get free from the rat race. So you have to be very careful of the narrative and the language they give you with the American dream. And I'm going to show you some other words during our conversation. So today, my portfolio is 38 apartments, 15.9% cash on cash return, $1.3 million in appreciation, and that will continue to appreciate, $37,000 in monthly rents, and about $5.2 million in value. So if you actually follow the blueprint that I'm teaching you, imagine yourself 10 years from now having a portfolio that is similar to this. But it all starts with you getting that first property. So as I told you before, this is my portfolio. This webinar is not about me. It is about you and your last name. This is not about you and your first name. This is not about you as an individual. This is about you and your last name and your legacy. So every time I help somebody close on a multifamily home, it is actually beginning their legacy, because that asset can stay in their family for the rest of their life. You cannot hand down your job to the next generation. In some cases, you cannot even hand down your company to the next generation. If you're a plumber and you haven't set up systems, right, so that company can actually produce income without you, you can't even hand down your business to the next generation. But an asset that you can hand down to the next generation is multi-family real estate. All right. And so what brings me more joy than anything right now, okay, rather than me just getting to a closing on another property, because that has become normalized for me. What brings me more joy than anything at this point in my life, in terms of my legacy work, is helping other people get to the closing table. So these are some of my students who have closed on properties all over the country. This is the Roll family. This is the first family that I helped close on a fourplex in Los Angeles, California. And when I helped them close, then I knew it was possible for me to help others. And that's what has led to the multifamily movement. So at our Generational Wealth Conference, which is our annual conference, right, where we focus on how to create generational wealth, these are all the people who closed on multifamily real estate last year. These are all the people who closed on multifamily real estate last year. Now, of course, haters will say that this is Photoshop, but you can't Photoshop a video, can you? Say movement, multifamily. So this is happening in real life, family. This movement is happening in real life, okay? There's nobody in this entire country, as Dr. Watkins said, that has more receipts than me. There's nobody that I know of, not a bank, not a church, not a nonprofit, not an individual that can actually show that they've created more economic impact or $250 million worth of economic impact than myself. So you are now, I say this with all humility because all of this is God, okay? I say this with all humility. You are now rocking with the best. There's nobody who does this better than me. If you know of somebody who has helped more families create generational wealth than myself, please let me know. Besides Dr. Watkins, I believe Dr. Watkins' work, his consistency, the information, the game that he's giving you, if you've implemented, has led to equal or greater economic impact. But I have actual receipts that show the economic impact that the multifamily movement, this process that I'm going to teach you, is having on our community. Okay, and I stand on that. Every closing, I have documentation of, visuals of, okay? People post in our Facebook group when they closed, all right? So I just say that to, allow you to put down your guards right now. Because sometimes as adult learners, we think that we should know it all. And like, who's this young cat, this and that, he had it all made, this and that, it must have been easy for him. He hasn't had to go through what I've gone through. This process has worked for single moms. This process has worked for people on disabilities. This process has worked for veterans. This process has worked for people who are divorced. This process has worked for 25-year-olds. So whatever excuse that you have or any projection of judgment that you're putting on me in this moment, I'm letting you know and I'm handing back to you your own excuses, your own justification for why you have not achieved what you desire to achieve. This process is universal. It is non-judgmental. If you follow the steps, you can get the same exact results. So put all of the chatter, the negative self-talk that is in your head right now, just put it to the side for the space of this webinar and just listen. In some way, somehow, 763 people have got this result. Why can't you? Okay, so here's the actual numbers that I wanted to share with you. I need to change this. Like I said, we had a closing today. So that is about $267 million worth of real estate acquired. My students are collecting about $27 million in rent annually. And the cash flow after principal, interest, taxes, insurance, capex, repairs, or vacancy rate that they keep in their family is around $8.2 million that they collect annually, okay, for the rest of their lives. Multiply that by 10 years, that's $80 million. Multiply that by 20 years, that's $160 million. Multiply that by 20 years, that's another $250 million, right? So this is the power of multifamily real estate, and this is what I want to teach you on the webinar. Now, how many of you have heard my multifamily poem before? Jose said, I'm Latino, can you help me? Jose, this process is non-discriminatory. This process is universal. I don't care if you're a man or you're a woman. I don't care if you're Christian or Muslim. I don't care if you're Latino or Black. It does not matter. If you follow the steps, brother, you are good to go. All right. All right. So I want to open up with this poem because I know we as people of color, we learn through, song and rhyme. When you're trying to educate a child, how do they learn? We teach them through song and rhyme. And so I understand this game in so much depth that I can take all the vocabulary and weave it into rhyme for you so that it resonates and it actually hits you from a different learning modality. All right. This is how much I care about you. All right. I'm always thinking about how to teach this information so that it resonates with people. I know some of you are visual learners, some of you are auditory, some of you actually need to be there and tactile, right? You need to touch it and you need to be able to see it. So I'm trying to connect with everybody in different learning styles. All right. So Here's the multifamily poem. Why don't we hack houses like frat houses where everyone living good for just a few thousand? Some will say it's lousy while they slaving proudly, spending 1/3 of their revenue to pay for housing. Living on your own, but you don't own ish. Can't even get a loan, student debt is up. Thinking a high wage is the way to get rich. Not if your living expenses rise directly with it. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, deep in debt till you croak. I'm gonna live just like the Jeffersons, pretend that I'm broke. Then I'll buy a multifamily, let the rents pay the note. Perhaps you could be my tenant. Yo, that would be dope. I keep my cost of living low along with my blood pressure, because if you always stressing, it's hard to enjoy pleasure. The man with the most is not the one who wins the race. It's the man with his soul who could look at his own face. 40 acres and a mule is what they taught us in school. I'd rather have 40 apartments and a big money pool. Leverage credit to capital and capital to cash flow. Cash is not king because the interest too low. Some call me a do-gooder. I got good deeds in my name. As a lord of my land, I'll never be a slave. You can dabble in stocks, lose your shirt and your socks, but the demand for housing will never, ever stop. Assets, assets, assets. Passive, passive, passive. These are the two keys to amass wealth quick. But quick is really relative. It's a long-term game. Who you hustling for? Your first or your last name? Salute. Everybody type your last name in the chat. This is not about you. Everybody type your last name in the chat. This is not about you. This is about your last name. This is about acquiring assets that will live beyond you. There we go. Look at those beautiful last names. Now, some of y'all are going to have to change your last names because it looked like Master's last name. Some of y'all going to have to change your last names. Your last name is not Washington, family. Your last name is not Washington. Your last name is not Hamilton, but that's for a whole nother webinar. All right. Cool. Yeah, we might have to throw X out there like Malcolm. I don't know. But you want to know what your true last name is? It's God. I'm more of a God than I am a Gordon. Gordon is my biological name. It's my father's name, right? But God, we're all children of God. So the most accurate last name for all of us is actually God. You are a child of God, period. And therefore, abundance is your birthright. And if you understand that abundance is your birthright, you also understand that you were supposed to leave an inheritance for your children's children. You were supposed to leave an inheritance for your children's children. But when most people die, the only thing they leave to the next generation is some clothes, some electronics, and some furniture. Some of you, based on the path that you're on right now, will only leave the next generation some clothes, some electronics, and some furniture. All that life force energy that you had for 50, 60, 70, and 80 years, and all that's left to show for it is some clothes, some electronics, and some furniture. Think about that. If you were to transition right now, what would you really be leaving? Some clothes, some electronics, and some furniture. That's all you would leave behind. That was all that you would have to show for all of this life that you've had. We have to break that cycle, family. And the way to break that cycle is to get out of the cycle of trading time for money. We have to acquire assets, okay? So here we are in the midst of what everybody is calling a recession. But when you actually have an abundance mindset, you don't believe in recession. The collective consciousness can actually believe in a recession. The news can project and program people to believe in scarcity and recession, okay? But it does not mean that it has to be a recession for you. It does not mean that it has to be a recession for you, okay? This projection of scarcity, right, is what the news does to keep you in fear. And when you are in fear, it stops you from taking action. When you're in fear, you cannot see the opportunity that's at hand. And so in these times are great wealth transfers, and the gap between the rich and the poor. You think it gets closer? No. The gap between the rich and the poor get wider and wider and wider in the midst of economic recessions. Okay. So the big question that we have to ask is, how will you multiply money during the greatest wealth transfer of our lifetime? How will you multiply money during the greatest wealth transfer of our lifetime? Are you going to just sit back passively and say, oh, well, my 401k is going down. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just the stock market doing the stock market thing. Oh, the American dollar is getting weaker and there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just going to let it happen and see where the chips fall. No, there is something that you can do to actually not be getting weaker in the midst of a recession, but that you actually build more wealth in the midst of an economic recession. So myth number one that we want to address is that recessions make people poor. That's the first myth. Recessions make people poor. Not true, okay? Wealth can be created in the midst of a recession. So in fact, recessions make people rich, and I'm going to prove it to you, all right? During the Great Depression, does anybody know some of the big companies that were started during the Great Depression? Because if it's a depression is greater than a recession, okay? Or depression is greater than recession. Now, if it's just true for everybody that everything goes down, everybody becomes poor, then these companies would not have been built in the midst of a depression. Okay? So let's look at some of the companies that were started during the Great Recession or Great Depression or recessions. Fortune Magazine, FedEx, UPS, Walt Disney, Hewlett Packard, Charles Schwab, Standard Oil. These companies were started during a recession. Coors, Costco, Revlon, General Motors, Procter & Gamble, United Airlines, Microsoft, LinkedIn. All of these companies were created during recessions or depressions. So given that you use some of these services, some of you went to Costco last weekend, some of you were on United Airlines for the past holiday, so you know that these companies exist, it cannot be true that automatically a recession or depression means poverty and scarcity. Because you have examples of major Fortune 500 companies that grew out of recessions. Okay, so the question is, do you have a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset? Are you going to let the news continue to program you towards scarcity, towards fear? China's doing this, Russia's doing this, balloons in the air, this is happening, COVID-23 is here. Are you going to listen to the narrative of scarcity, or are you going to tap into the narrative of abundance? Okay, everybody in chat type abundance is my birthright. Everybody in chat type abundance is my birthright. I need you to not only type it, I need you to believe it more so than anything. I need you to believe that abundance is your birthright. Some of you don't believe it. Some of you believe that we are cursed. God is against us. Nope, that's what you've been taught, but it's not actually true. All right? So listen, scarcity mindset in the midst of a recession, a scarcity mindset sees problems. I'm going to save my money because it's not safe out there in the market. I need to have it close to me because it's not safe if I send it out there to work. Life is going to get harder in the midst of a recession. I need to go buy some more toilet paper. I need to buy some canned goods in case the grocery store is shut down. I need to go fill up some extra gas tanks in case the price of gas goes up. Everything is going to drop in the midst of recession. The American economy is going down because it's a recession. That's the scarcity mindset. And some of you have these scripts in your head right now, okay? Now, abundance mindset can be in the same exact situation and see the world completely differently. Abundance mindset says, I see opportunities. I don't see problems. I see opportunities, okay? Because the more problems that people are having means more opportunities. Abundance mindset is, I'm going to invest my money. Abundance mindset says, I'm going to solve harder problems. Abundance mindset says, everything is going on sale. It doesn't say the price is going to drop, everything's going to go down. The abundance mindset says everything is going on sale and I'm going to be ready to take advantage of that. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to start off with rule number 2 of investing. And I'm going to show you how multifamily real estate in particular can address this rule. Okay. So does anybody know what the number 2 rule of investing is? Does anybody know what the number 2 rule of investing is? Beat the what? Beat the what? Y'all are missing it. Beat inflation. Beat inflation. That's number 2 rule of investing. Okay. Now, does anybody know what inflation has been over the past 2 years? Yeah, everybody type that because you missed it. Nobody got it. Beat inflation. Type beat inflation. Beat inflation. Okay. No, it has not been 2 to 3%, family. I'm sorry. With all the money that the government printed during COVID, inflation has not been 2%. That might be what they told you. Inflation has not been 2%. So if you don't understand the concept of inflation, this is what inflation looks like. 20 years of inflation turned 50 cents into a full dollar. This is what inflation looks like. So basically, what you used to pay 50 cents for now cost you $1 because they printed so much money, right, that the dollar is now worth less. The same carton of eggs is there, 12 eggs in the carton, doesn't, but it costs you twice as much. Now, here's the trick with inflation, family. Because you might have more dollars, it feels like you're richer because your stack of money is like this. But guess what? You're actually no different than where you were. If you go to some developing countries, you'll see they have a stack of bills like this, and visually it looks like, oh, they're balling. They have a stack of paper, okay? But the reality is that whole stack only buys one chicken. All right. So that's rule number 1, is to beat inflation. Okay. So inflation basically says that your $100 from 2001 that you had sitting in the bank account in 2002 is only worth $92. So some of you have been trying to save your way to wealth, and saving is a somewhat of a step to actually building wealth. You got to build up some sort of reserves to invest. But we don't save for the sake of saving. We save to invest. That's what many people didn't tell you. You don't save for the sake of saving. You save to invest. For my religious folks out there, they said, don't give your pearls to swine, right? They said, don't give your pearls to swine. But when you were a child, where did they tell you to put your money? When you were a child, where did they tell you to put your money? Here's the programming. Watch this. They told you to put it in a piggy bank. So you were giving your pearls, which is your money, to swine, which is the bank. It was all programming, family. So now when you became an adult and you got pearls from your job, what did you do? You automatically gave it to the bank. You've been giving your pearls to swine and you expect to create wealth. The bank is not, you're not winning with your money in the bank. Your money's not safe there. Okay? Because if the bank is only giving you 0.03% interest, but inflation is 8%, that means you're actually losing money by saving money. You are actually losing money by saving money. You saving, there's no way that you could save up enough money with on top of having inflation for you to ever be free. At some point, you have to get your money to work for you. You have to get your money to make more money. That is the only way for you to ever get free. Okay? So the only thing that you should have saved is your emergency fund. After your emergency fund, every single dollar needs to become an employee and needs to be out in the world working on your behalf in some sort of asset. So we have to break that mentality. All right. So Bank of America, look how much they're paying. They're paying 0.03% interest in your savings account, 0.03% interest. Now, in what I call math for millionaires, right, there's a rule. It's called the rule of 72. You take the rule of 72, you take 72, you divide it by the interest rate, and it will tell you how long it's going to take you to double your money at that interest rate. So it's 72 divided by the interest rate. Then it tells you how many years it's going to take you to double your money. So 72 divided by something that is yielding a 10% interest rate is going to take 7.2 years for you to double your money. Okay. Now, your Bank of America savings account is only yielding 0.03% interest. So guess how long it's going to take you to double your money in a savings account? Everybody type 2,400 years. I just need you to be aware. Everybody type 2,400 years. That's how long it's going to take you to double your money in a Bank of America savings account at 0.03% interest. You heard of the game, big banks take little bank? That's what's been happening. You are a bank, but you've been allowing the big banks to take your little bank. I'm going to show you how through real estate, you actually turn that equation around. They're taking money from you at 0.03% interest, and then they're loaning it back to you for a mortgage or for student loans at 6, 7, 8% interest. This is how they multiply their money off of your ignorance. That's how banks multiply their money. On top of that, they have the money multiplier, so they get to take your deposits and basically multiply your deposits by 10. Okay? Are you understanding this? Now, of course, the next option or next place you have to put your money is in the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 is companies, right? Major companies, and basically a cart of some of the biggest companies in the world. And if you were to buy their stocks, right, then this is what the S&P 500 is made up of. Okay. So does anybody know what the S&P 500 has yielded on average year for year over the past 22 years? Anybody know what the average rate of return has been for the S&P 500? A lot of you think your money is safe in the stock market. I think the past few months or even years have showed you that it's not. I see 13%, 7%, 9%, 5%, 7%, 12%. Woo! You are all wrong again. Nobody has got it. I've done the actual math, family. Stop listening to what people tell you. Go do the research for yourself. The S&P 500 since January 1st of 2000, over the past 20 years, up to December 31st, 2022, has only had a 4.46% average rate of return. Now, of course, there's been times where you've been up, but there are also times like now when you were down. And so over the past 22 years, the S&P 500 has only yielded 4.46% on the money that you put into the market. That's not that great, because inflation is what? Inflation has been 8%. So that means you're still losing money. The numbers don't lie. You think I'm making this up? The people who have been making it up are the people who just tell you, oh yeah, the stock market grows by 10% every single year. That's been the people who've been lying to you. You all have the power to run the numbers. These are the actual numbers. January 1st of 2000, it was $1,469. At the end of 2022, it was at $4,766. Over 22 years, this is the average rate of return. Numbers don't lie, family. So there has to be an asset class that is better than the bank and even better and more solid and consistent than the stock market, right? For me, that asset class is multifamily real estate, because in the stock market, 72 divided by 4.46 is going to take you 16 years to double your money in the S&P 500. Okay. So people say, okay, well, Julian, let me go buy a single family home. How much do you think single family homes appreciate on average per year? You can run the numbers. It's basic research. Okay. Single family homes from January 2000 to October 2020 grew, the average price grew by 2.6%. 2.6%. Okay. That's the average growth rate in terms of price on a single family home. So here we have these various asset classes, our checking account, which yields nothing, our savings account, which yields 0.03%, our 401k and stocks that yields 4.46%, single family home that yields 2.6%. Okay. I want to show you and teach you multifamily real estate, because when you add inflation in there, all of these other asset classes are negative, family. They leave you with a negative return. Negative. You think you're doing the right thing. Oh, I'm investing in stocks. Oh, I'm buying a single family home. But when you add inflation in there, you're still hustling backwards. Is this making sense? So we need an asset class. We need an asset class that is going to have a positive rate of return despite inflation and is consistent and predictable. And my favorite asset class is multifamily real estate. So if you have the poverty mindset, you'll think right now, I'm too broke to invest. Okay? A recession's coming, Julian. I'm too broke to invest. A wealthy mindset says, I invest until I'm broke. Many of you would love to have my balance sheet right now. You would love to have my bank balance as well. Okay? But guess what? You can't borrow any money from me. You want to know why? Why can't you borrow any money from me? Because all of my money beyond my emergency fund is out in the world working for me. I don't have the money to give you. It is in assets. It is in real estate deals. It is in business deals. It is in the market. You have an attachment to being able to see and go grab your money within a 30-minute or 15-minute ride to the bank. That is your attachment. And that attachment is actually what is causing you to lose your wealth. You have an attachment to seeing money in your bank account. You think that that is wealth. If it is sitting in your bank account, it is doing nothing. It is being lazy. That's why they call it a dead president. Your job is to actually resurrect those presidents and give them life, to go give them a job, to go give them something to do, not to allow them to sit in a bank account and do absolutely nothing. So we have to destroy the mentality of, I need to save money. Oh, my bank account is going up. That is me creating wealth. No, because when you account for inflation, it is not you creating wealth. That money is becoming less and less valuable. Is this clear? Okay, so we need an asset class that allows us to put our money somewhere where it starts to multiply for us. Okay. Myth number 2 is that real estate goes down in the midst of a recession. Okay. Some of you are afraid to invest in real estate right now because of the recession talk, right? Well, that's not true. Real estate doesn't go down. I need you to think about it differently. Real estate goes on discount in a recession. How many like to buy things on a discount? How many like to buy things at a discount? I don't like to buy things at full price. But when I see it on a discount and it's something that I wanted, I go move on it. Okay. So we're talking about buying something that is priced at 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000. Wouldn't you want a discount on something like that? Some of you get more excited on a discount on something that's $5. Oh, it's 50 cents off this bag of chips. Some of y'all get excited off of a 50-cent coupon or discount on a $5 bag of chips. But then when I say real estate is going on discount, you're like, well, whatever. That's a $50,000 savings, but you more excited about a 50-cent discount on a bag of chips. Okay. So now to rule number 1 of investing. Rule number one of investing is what? What's rule number one of investing? Buy low and sell high. Buy low and sell high. I know Dr. Watkins has taught you well. Okay. That's stocks, that's real estate, any other asset, art, etc. But I actually want to change this up a little bit. We want to buy low. We want to buy real estate low, and then we want to rent it for high. Rent it out for high. We don't want to pay rent high. You're either going to rent it out for high, or you're going to end up paying rent that is high. Everybody type that. Buy low, rent high. That's the goal. I want to buy real estate at a low price, and then I want to rent it for high. That's the new motto. I have no intention of selling my real estate portfolio. There are properties in there that I will never, ever sell. So I don't need to buy low and sell high. I'm going to buy low, hold the asset, and continue to rent it for high amounts, like my triplex in Brooklyn, like my duplex in Oakland, like my fourplex in New Orleans. Those are 3 properties that I never intend to sell. I bought them low, and I'm going to rent them for high forever. Rent them for high forever. Okay? This is the name of the game. Because if you sell something, what are you left with, family? If you sell something, what are you left with? You're left with cash. And now you're stuck again, because now you have to figure out how to get these dead presidents to work again. Did y'all know something? I got to tell y'all something. See, a lot of y'all thought that slavery was over, right? Because there's no shackles and chains, right? But did you know that the US dollar is 75% cotton? Yeah, the US dollar that you've been chasing is 75% cotton. So many of y'all are still out here picking cotton on a daily basis on the corporate plantation, and you didn't even know it. This is called modern day slavery. Modern day slavery is mental and it is monetary. Almost all of y'all are still picking cotton. You thought it had gone somewhere. Slavery's gone, Julian, it's over. No, slavery just morphed itself. And now you're running to the cotton field on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You actually run there. You commute there. You're still on the corporate plantation. You're still not free. See, freedom is binary. You're either free or you're not free. Oh, Julian, I'm kind of free. I got internet, you know what I'm saying? I got a big screen TV and I got a single family home. I'm kind of free. No, there's no kind of free. You're either free or you're not free. And here's how you know you're not free at this time. Because if you stopped working for 1 month, most of y'all couldn't stop working for 3 days without there being consequences. Most of y'all could not stop working for 2 weeks without there being major consequences and impact on your life. Most of y'all cannot stop working for 1 month without there being major consequences on your life. That's how you know you're not free. In chat, let me know, how many days could you stop working without there being any consequences on your life? Just let me know, because you think you're free and you're not. How many days could you stop working without there being any consequences on your life? Okay. I am 100% free. You are looking at a 100% free Black man. I don't have to be on this webinar. I don't have to go to any job for the rest of my life. Why? Because my multifamily real estate portfolio provides me with $37,000 per month in rent. And after the principal, interest, tax, insurance, capex, repairs, and vacancy rate, I keep about 40% of that. So I get paid $15,000 a month for the rest of my life, even if I did nothing. And I was able to get fully free in less than a decade. Now, your first multifamily home, it will get you to rent and mortgage freedom, meaning you no longer have a housing expense for the rest of your life, right? But in order to get to full freedom, we're going to need about 10 to 12 doors to get to full freedom, where your multifamily real estate is covering all your living expenses. And at that moment, you are free. So is there anybody in here who's 100% free? If you're 100% free right now, you could stop it all right now and nothing in your life would change. Please type 100. I just want to see how many free men and women we have. How many free women and men do we have? Okay. We have about 3, 4, 6. Okay. We only have about 10 free people on a webinar of hundreds of hundreds of people right now. We only have 10 free people on a webinar of hundreds of people. Okay. So we need to change that. Okay. So here's the reality. When Black Friday comes and there's a discount on a TV, what happens? When Black Friday comes and there's a discount on a TV, they're selling a TV that would normally be $800 for $148. All of y'all run to Target, Best Buy, Walmart, and it's just chaos. Okay. You think you're getting a TV for cheap, right? But what you didn't account for is what? You want to know what's really expensive about this TV? It's all the time that you're going to waste watching it. The cost of the TV has nothing to do with money. It has to do with you watching it and all the money that you could have made while you were watching the TV. That is the true cost of the TV. This TV is not a discount. They're only giving you the device cheaply so that they can access your mind through their television programming. While you're sitting in front of the TV, most of you are not making any money. That's the true cost of you having a TV. Okay? So then when I say there's discount on real estate, what happens? When it's a discount on the TV, y'all run like crazy. But when I say there's a discount on real estate, what happens? Oh no, I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't want to get involved in real estate. You start clutching onto your money when you're about to get a discount on the biggest asset that the average American can acquire. You see the psychology here? You see this psychology. We have to switch the psychology around, okay? So how many of you wish you would have bought during the last recession? How many wish you would have bought multifamily real estate during the last recession? Okay. This red box represents the last recession where you see the prices of real estate drop. Does anybody know how much discount real estate went on during the last recession? What is that discount? What is that drop? Real estate went on a 32% discount, and many of you did not take any action. The prices dropped by 32%, and most of you did not take action. Okay? So I see some people saying, I'm going to make sure I do it this time. That's correct. It's called pattern recognition. So if we know that we're stepping into another recession, we need to be prepared, because ultimately real estate has an upward trajectory, but we will only want to buy, right, when it dips below that trajectory, similar to stocks. Okay. But we do not want to buy single family homes. Okay. Because what happens with single family homes, while the price might drop, the price is only dropping because the interest rates tend to go up during a recession. And so what does that mean? That means that when interest rates go up, the price of that home becomes less and less because there's less people who can get financed at that interest rate. Now, I know you've been told that, oh, Julian, interest rates are sky high. I don't want to get involved in real estate right now. I want to wait for the interest rates to drop. That is not true. Okay. While we may not be at the all-time low of 2.65% from January 2001 during COVID, the only thing that has happened in terms of interest rates is that interest rates have increased back to their normal level. So the news reports are saying, oh, interest rates are rising. Interest rates are extremely high. It's too late. You missed out. It's not true. The only thing that has happened is that interest rates have risen back to their normal standard. If we want to talk about high interest rates, the highest interest rate was in October of 1981. The interest rate was 18.63%. It was literally a credit card interest rate on a mortgage. Right now, we're in between 6 and 7%. We're not even at a third of that. Okay. So interest rates are not high, family. Can you please type that? Interest rates are not high. The only thing that has happened is that they've returned back to pre-COVID levels. They've stabilized. Interest rates are not high. This is not the reason you should not be buying. Again, when you hear all this fear mongering in the news, do you think your news reporter is a real estate investor? Do you think your news reporter is a real estate investor? The answer is no. So why are you taking real estate advice from somebody who does not even own rental or multifamily real estate? They might own a single family home, but they're not a real estate investor. But you're letting them project to you what you should do regards to real estate. Okay. So moving forward. Now, here is what you need to be aware of. Here's the cost of procrastination. If you allow interest rates to rise, let's say they go up from 6% to 8%, it's going to cost you. And it's going to cost you a lot. All because you waited, you hesitated, and procrastinated instead of getting educated. You waited, you hesitated, you procrastinated instead of getting educated. So on this $300,000 duplex that I own in New Orleans, at an interest rate of 6%, it's going to cost me $358,000 in interest for this house over the course of 30 years. Literally, I'm going to buy the house and then I'm going to buy the lender a house. But I'm not paying it, right? Because the rents from the tenants are actually paying all of this down. But watch what happens, okay? Watch what happens if you allow the interest rate to rise to 8%. Watch this, family. If the interest rate rises over the next 6 months to 8%, for the same set of bricks, you're going to end up paying $145,000 more in interest. All because you didn't take action now. All because you waited, hesitated, and procrastinated. You were trying to wait for property to go on discount. You were trying to wait for interest rates to go down, and it went the opposite way. And because you waited, hesitated, and procrastinated, look what happened. You end up working for another 10 years to pay off this extra $145,000. It's just numbers, family. This is the cost of procrastination. This is the cost of procrastination. This is the cost of procrastination. So while the interest rates are around 6%, you need to get in the game now. Because every percentage point that the interest rate goes up, it's going to cost you, okay? A 2% increase in interest rate will actually lead to require an 18% price drop for the mortgage to be the same. You see these mortgages, 1798 and 1798, okay? The price would have to drop by $55,000 for you to have the same mortgage amount. But that's not what's happening in this market. The price is staying the same. So what's going to happen is you actually end up paying $145,000 more. See, what real estate agents are not telling you, what lenders are not telling you, is that this $300,000 house, single family home, if you bought this as a single family home instead of a duplex, this house does not cost $300,000. How much does this house really cost, family, at 6%? How much does this house really cost at 6%? This house is actually a $658,000 house when you add in the interest, family. The house is actually a $658,000 house. It's not a $300,000 house. It's only $300,000 if you had cash to pay for it. So the price that you see on Trulia and Zillow is a lie. That's not the real price of the home. Is that clear? The price that you see on Trulia and Zillow is not the real price of the home unless you have cash. And if you allow this interest rate, just the interest rate alone change by 2%, now this house is going to cost you $802,000. If I asked you, would you really buy this house for $802,000? You'd be like, no, never. But they price it at $300,000. But that is not, that's if you have cash. Okay. So myth number 3, multifamily homes are expensive, Julian. That's why I've been focused on single family homes. This is not true. Multifamily homes are not expensive. In fact, multifamily homes are cheaper than single family homes. You're probably looking at me get crazy. Multifamily homes are cheaper than single family homes. And of course, they're cheaper than renting. Okay. For those of you who are renters, I have a rude awakening for you. Okay. Let's start with renters. For those of you who are renters, you want to know what the truth is that if you are renting, you are homeless. Yeah, I said it. If you were a renter on this webinar, you are homeless. You technically do not have a home. You might call it my apartment. You might call it my house, but that's an actual lie because you're not on the title. You're not on the deed. That's Tommy's house. That's Sally's house that you're renting. You're actually homeless. Now, there's a spectrum of homelessness. There's the homeless person who's sleeping on the bus bench, and then there's you who's renting. Okay. So you're not on the same end of that spectrum, but you are still on the spectrum of homelessness. You don't have a home. You do not have a home. Okay. Now, this person who's sleeping on the bus bench probably dealt with childhood abuse, mental illness, drug addiction, has no money, no friends, no family, no education, no job. Okay. No community, no food. All they have is the clothes on their back. And so my question to you, for those of you who are renting, how is it that this homeless person owns as many properties as you do? 0. How does this homeless person own as many properties as you do? 0. Here you are with all this education. You got the internet. You got $1,000 computer or phone that you're watching this webinar on. You got people that love you, friends and family. You got nice clothes in your closet. You got a car. You got a job. You got all these degrees. Okay. How is it that this homeless person owns as many properties as you do? And you've been working on the corporate plantation for how many years? 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And this homeless person still owns just as many properties as you do? Please make that make sense. Make that make sense. In fact, for some of you, this homeless person has a higher net worth than some of you. For some of you, your net worth is negative right now. Did you know that a newborn baby born in the past 30 seconds has a higher net worth than some of you who are on this webinar right now? Newborn baby has a net worth of 0. Some of you have a negative net worth. That means that you're hustling backwards. It means that you have to do something different. Okay. So, sorry for the gut check, but I need you to know that. I need you to know that you are homeless and it's time for you to get a home. Yeah, it's time for you to get a home. Okay. So, single family buyers, you thought you were participating in the American dream. No. The American dream hasn't freed that many people. Here we are on a webinar with hundreds of people and only 10 people are 100% free. So that proves that the American dream is not working. It is not getting people to freedom. Freedom is the brand of this country, but it is not the actual reality. It is the promise of this country, but it is not the reality for most of its citizens. And I have to tell you this as B1 folks, it has nothing to do with race. They don't care if white people are not free. Most white people are not free either. So I need you to get off the racial tip a little bit. And here's why. Because if you think about it, in Europe, when the people from Europe, the quote unquote settlers came, the colonizers came, who were they running from when they came to the Americas, family? Who were they running from when they came to the Americas? They were running from other white people. They were running from other white folks to try to get free. So as much as I know we are B1, I want you to stop taking it so personal, because it's not even about race. It made it about race on the lower level, but they don't care who they oppress. The powers that be don't care who they oppress. Guess what? Even if there were no black, even if we all went back to Africa and to the Caribbean, guess what? There would still be a class system here in the United States of white people. You think that all white people just gonna be living in heaven if we left? No, there would still be a class and caste system here, because it's not about race. They don't care who they oppress. They don't care what their skin color is. All they care about is green. So I'm doing that to let you know you can take some of the chips off your shoulder thinking, oh, it's because I'm black, they don't like me. No, they're just power hungry. They're just greedy. They're just colonizers. Okay? So for my single family buyers, you thought you were a homeowner. You've been watching episodes of HGTV. Look at me, I'm a homeowner, I'm a homeowner. No, you're not. You're not a homeowner. Yo, yeah, I got the keys though, I'm a homeowner. That's what HGTV told me. No, you're a home buyer. Those are two different things. The truth is that the bank buys your home and then it rents it to you for 30 years. Listen to that very carefully. The bank buys your home and then it rents it to you for 30 years. You thought you were grown and sexy. Look at me, I'm not paying rent anymore. Yes, you are. You're still paying rent. Single family buyer. What do you mean, Julian? I'm not paying rent. Yes, you are. You're not paying rent to a landlord. Who are you paying rent to? You're paying rent to the bank to use their money that you didn't have to buy the home. When you pay rent to the bank, it's called interest. Interest is rent. You're not paying rent to a landlord, you're paying rent to the bank. I hope y'all caught that. So now the interest on a $300,000 home with 3.5% down at 6% is actually $358,000. So you end up buying yourself a home and you end up buying your lender a home just off the interest alone over 30 years. So when we take that $358,000 and we divide that by 360 months, which is 30-year mortgage, you're paying $994 per month in rent, single family buyer. You're paying $994 per month in rent. And that does not even include the private mortgage insurance, okay, of $241 at 1%, property taxes, homeowners insurance, and the big one that everybody forgets is maintenance. Even if you paid off your single family home, for some of you who are older, guess what? You still have homeowners insurance, you still have property taxes, and those increase every single year, and you still have maintenance. Guess what? When you need that new $10,000 roof, guess where that money's coming from? It's coming from your savings account. So this is why some of you are house poor. You have a house, but your house is actually making you poor. Yep. Some of you are house poor, but you don't want to share that with everybody. You don't want to share that with everybody that, I'm in this house. You've seen me in this house for 20 years, but this house is actually taking all my money. Every other month, there's something else to fix. The contractor, the plumber, the electrician, they're here every other month. This house is making me poor. Nobody wants to admit that, though. Because now you have a 30-year-old home. You paid off the mortgage, but your home is now 30 years old. These homes weren't built to last for 100 years the way they used to be. You have a 30-year-old home now, family. And just when the mortgage gets done, it gets replaced by maintenance. Stop me when I'm lying. Okay? So my goal is to get you to rent and mortgage freedom. Okay? Rent and mortgage freedom. How many of you would love to get rid of your rent payment or your mortgage payment for the rest of your life? Type me in chat. How many of you would love to get rid of your rent payment or your mortgage payment for the rest of your life? Okay. Remember, I've not made a payment towards housing since May of 2013. It's been almost, what is that, 10 years. 10 years since I made had a housing expense. Now, how would your bank account look? Give me one word that describes how your bank account would look and how you would feel if you hadn't paid a housing expense for the past 10 years. Fat. Why everybody say fat? Is that the new word? Fat. I hope you're not fat. I want your bank account to be fat. I don't want you to be fat. I want your bank account to be fat. All right. Cool. So obese. And my bank account have diabetes. Oh my goodness. Y'all are crazy. All right. So listen up. For most people, their housing expense, whether it's rent or mortgage, takes up about 35% of their housing expense, of their total income. So if a family is bringing in $6,000 a month, about $2,000 a month is going out towards housing, okay? Whether that's rent or mortgage, okay? So imagine with one single decision, you get rid of your housing expense forever and experience immediate relief and freedom, okay? One single decision. That single decision is to buy multi-family real estate. Now, there's only 3 ways to get rid of your housing expense forever. Does anybody know what they are? There's only 3 ways to get rid of your housing expense forever. Okay. First way is to live in a tent. Second way is to go to jail. And the third way is to buy multi-family real estate. Which one are you going to choose? First way is to live in a tent. Second way is to go to jail. And third way is to buy multi-family real estate. These are the only 3 ways that I know of to get rid of your housing expense forever. And I'm going to put it to you like this. You actually getting a higher paying job does not get rid of your housing expense. Getting a higher paying job does not get rid of your housing expense, family. Okay. Number 3 is the only way that I know of with dignity to get rid of your housing expense forever. That's what I did. And that's what I want to show you how to do with one single move. The reason this move is the most powerful financial move that you can make, right, is 1, you stop paying rent forever. You actually create passive income streams with every rental door that you have. So if you have a 4-plex, you have now 3 streams of passive income while you live in 1 unit for free. You automatically receive tax savings based on your ability to depreciate that property over 27.5 years. You acquire hundreds of thousands of dollars in appreciating assets for no to low money down. And you start building regenerational wealth forever because this asset can stay in your family forever and continue to pay you forever. This is why buying multi-family real estate is the single most powerful financial move that you can make right now. Okay? So, why multi-family real estate? There's only 2.6 million of them in the entire United States. And when I'm talking about multi-family real estate, I'm not talking about huge apartment complexes, okay? For the sake of this conversation, I'm talking about 2-family, 3-family, or 4-family homes, okay? Everybody type 2, 3, 4. Everybody type 2, 3, 4, okay? This means duplex, triplex, or 4-plex. This is what we call a multi-family home. And what most people don't know, okay, is that financing for a duplex, triplex, or 4-plex falls under the same residential guidelines as financing for a single-family home. The same bank, the same interest rate, the same documents. See, you thought that just because this property had multiple units or multiple doors, that it was going to be a more difficult financing process. No, it's actually easier. It's actually easier, family. Now, the reason I'm so focused on helping you and my people get access to these types of deals is because multifamily homes Duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes only make up 18% of the rental supply. So they are literally the smallest aspect of the entire rental supply, right? So this is a rare asset that we need to get into. And if you follow the steps, you can achieve rent and mortgage freedom with your first purchase, like I did in Brooklyn, New York. Your first purchase of a multifamily home can get you to rent and mortgage freedom and eliminate your housing expense forever. Okay. Now, a lot of you think that you just don't make enough money to get finance, right? So you haven't even tried. So let me show you something. You do not need lots of money to get started in multifamily real estate. This is my actual W-2 from 2012. If you're paying attention, what month and year did I buy my first multifamily home in Brooklyn? What month and year? There you go. May of 2013. So guess what? This is the W-2 that they used to qualify me to buy a triplex in Brooklyn, New York, and I was only making $36,000. I bought my first multifamily home when I was only making $36,000. I got started in multifamily real estate when I wasn't making a lot of money in New York City, the most expensive market in the world, while I was an entrepreneur and within 3 years of an economic recession. Okay. This is evidence. If I moved this box, you would see my social security number. Okay. This was my only way that I could show you and prove to you that this works, because I'm a living example that you do not need lots of money to get started in multifamily real estate. Okay. Now, how? How many of you would like to know how I did this? Credit score. I'm going to show you opportunities to get financed that don't even require your credit. They don't even require credit. Okay. Look at this. Let me explain to you how multifamily real estate is financed. All right. So if you are going to buy this pink single family home in New Orleans, one of my favorite markets, okay, and you have $40,000 in W-2 income, this is how the bank will look at you. The bank will typically finance you for about 6 times your W-2 income. So 6 times $40,000 is $240,000. That's for about how much you would qualify for on a single family home. Okay. Everybody see that? Everybody type 6X. Everybody type 6X. Okay. Good. Okay. So in general, 6 times your W-2 income. Now watch this, family. Watch this. When it comes to multifamily real estate, it's different. Everybody get your mind blown emojis ready. When you're buying a multifamily home, the lender will give you credit for 75% of the rents that you are going to get once you close on the home, and they will add that to your W-2 income today and qualify you based on that number. I'm going to repeat that. The lender will give you credit for 75% of the rents that building will produce once you close on it, and they will add that to your W-2 income today. So I'm going to show you. This is a pink fourplex that I own in New Orleans. Okay. Let's say that each unit produces $1,000 a month in rent. Okay. So that's $4,000 per month in rent. 75% of $4,000 is $3,000 times 12 months is $36,000. Watch this, everybody. Here's where the breakthrough is going to come in first, y'all. Y'all ready? The lender will take that $36,000 and they will add that to your W-2 income of $40,000. And now they will qualify you based on $76,000 of income. So now 76 times 6 is $456,000 worth of real estate that you can acquire because you bought a multifamily home instead of a single family home. You literally almost doubled your buying power because you bought a multifamily home first. That's what most of you did not know. This is why you've been chasing single family homes, because I'm going to break it down to you like this. It's actually easier to buy a multifamily home than it is to buy a single family home. It is actually easier to buy a multifamily home than it is to buy a single family home. I know that sounds ridiculous to you right now because you are not in the game, but not only have I done it, but I've had 760 plus people do it. And it is actually easier to buy a multifamily home than it is to buy a single family home. Are y'all catching this? I'm going to answer questions at the end. I see a lot of questions coming up in chat. I'm going to answer questions at the end, family. So please save your questions, okay? I do want to answer them, but I'm going to answer them at the end, all right? I see a ton of questions. Oh, what about me? I have this unique situation. I understand that. I'm certain that the webinar is going to answer about 90% of your questions, all right? Type got it if you got what I'm showing you on this slide, because this one slide is a game changer. Type got it. If you got it, type got it. I need to know that you got this. This is the key. This is the master key right here. Okay? So now when we get into financing, okay, Julian, but how do I get the down payment? Right? How do I get the down payment? Did you know that there are no money down programs out there? Did you know that there are no money down programs out there? Literally $0 down, family. See, your intellectual property can get you physical property. But if you don't have enough intellectual property, then this is probably the reason why you have no physical property. You don't know enough. Okay? You didn't know that there were no money down programs out there. Okay? No down payment, no closing costs, no points or fees, no credit score consideration whatsoever. I've had many students go through this particular program. This particular program is called NACA, NACA.com, NACA.com. So your whole excuse of I can't afford it, it's no longer true. I've wiped that clean because now I've given you a pathway to get in the door with $0 down. Okay. No, NACA is not just for low income people. That's another myth. Okay. So NACA also does not take your credit into account for those of you who are worried about your credit. Okay. NACA looks at your rental payment from the past 3 months. They say, okay, this person's rental payment, have they been paying rent on time consistently over the past 3 months, right? And then when they run the numbers on your multifamily, if the balance that is left after collecting rent on that property is less than your rental payment, they will finance you for that amount. Okay? So NACA is a very, very powerful program. All right? So that excuse has been cleared. All right. So my first student, if some of you say, does this work in an expensive market? That first student, Kazi, the Roll family, they went through NACA and they closed on a fourplex in Los Angeles. Okay. Using NACA. That property is by USC, has appreciated like crazy since then. All right. Then we have Gloria. She closed on a triplex in Philadelphia. Okay. She said, I closed on my first triplex July 1st in Philadelphia through NACA. I was approved for 480 with 1.5% interest, asking price 520, offered 510. Seller paid 2% closing costs for me to close on the property, and I walked away only paying title fees. I'm still in disbelief. Do y'all know how much title fees are? Most of y'all don't. All my real estate agents, how much are title fees? How much are title fees? Gloria bought a triplex in Philadelphia for about $300. Between $300 and $600, she bought a triplex in Philadelphia. Yeah, you heard that correctly. She bought a triplex in Philadelphia for only about $300 to $600 out of her pocket. Tell me, oh, I can't afford real estate. Some of y'all blew $300 this past weekend. You went and got your hair done, you got your eyebrows done, you got your makeup done, you got your nails done, you bought a whole outfit, you took an Uber, you did hookah, right? Then you got some appetizers, then you got a meal, then you got some alcohol, then you went to another club, then you took an Uber home. Some of y'all blew $300 this past weekend talking about I can't afford real estate when Gloria has bought an entire triplex in Philadelphia for the equivalent of what you spent this past weekend. You know what? For some of you, right? Some of you want to know where your wealth is? It's in your closet. Because in your closet, you got designer clothes with Italian families' names on them hanging up in a closet that you don't own, that another family owns while your family is behind you struggling. Oh, look at my Gucci. Look at my Balenciaga. Look at my Chanel. Yeah, but look at your bank account. Look at your bank account. Your wealth is in your closet. If you really about this life, go sell all that stuff that's in your closet that's not even serving you. Go sell that purse. Go sell those red bottoms. Go sell that, what, I don't even know. Go sell that little Chanel pen. What does that Chanel pen do for you? It makes you look rich to other people? What is it doing for you? And it's not just about the ladies. Fellas, you be on that tip too. You got 2 to 3 pairs of Jordans in your closet, but don't have $2,300 in your bank account. There's a problem with that. Go sell those Jordans. Okay. Now, some of you saying, oh, this doesn't work in expensive markets. NACA takes too long. Well, Luis, he went through NACA. Okay. New York got a property for $900,000. NACA gave him $119,000 construction loan, right? He finished out the construction. That property is now worth way more than his full acquisition and construction, and he's getting rents from that. So it works everywhere. Okay. This makes sense. All right. So the American dream has told you, go get your single family home first. And here's where it's backwards. Okay. They want you to use FHA, which is the government's loan program. They want you to use FHA, which is 3.5% down, to get your single family first. And then after you get your single family, then start investing. That's the wrong way. Okay. Because if you put 3.5% down on a $100,000 single family home, just disregard the actual price of the home. Just look at the math, okay? Then after that, you say, Julian, I want to invest in multifamily real estate, and it's going to be 25. Little did people know is that your non-owner occupied multifamily home will be 25% down. So when you add up those two down payments, right, that's actually $78,000 in down payments. That's $78,000 in down payments, okay? Everybody get your mind-blown emojis ready. Get your mind-blown emojis ready. I'm about to save some of you. I'm about to save some of you literally 5 to 10 years on your real estate journey right now. You ready? You ready? This one slide. She said, save me. Y'all ready? If all you did was switch the sequence, watch what happens. You put 3.5% down on your multifamily first. So 3.5% down on a $300,000 triplex is now $10,500. You live there for 1 year, which is the FHA requirement. Then you go buy your dream home, your single family dream home, and you put 25% down on that at $100,000. That's $25,000 down payment. Look at the total down payments, family. $78,000 versus $35,000. All because we did what? We just switched the order. Now, that is a $43,000 gap. How long would it take you to actually save up $43,000 more? For some of you, that's going to take you 5 to 10 years to save up that additional $43,000. And all because you were here on this webinar and you know to buy your multifamily first. I've literally just saved you 5 to 10 years on your real estate journey, all because you followed the proper sequence to have the most leverage. It's the same exact 2 properties, just bought in a different sequence. And with FHA, you only have to live in the property for 1 year. FHA loans can be used as 3.5% down. It's a government backed loan, can be used for duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. Josette says a multifamily is not 300 in New York. That is true. The math still applies. I told you not to look at the numbers. I'm telling you to look at the math and the principle. Josette, I have members closing in Brooklyn. While you're here talking about your limiting beliefs, I have members closing in Brooklyn right now. I have members closing in Newark, New Jersey right now. So you can continue to justify your limiting beliefs and your scarcity mindset, or you can accept the reality that there are people who are buying multifamily real estate all over the country every day, except for you. Josette, I have people closing in Cypress Hill. So you're either going to try to convince me of your small thinking, or I'm going to convince you of thinking bigger for yourself. We're going to go to war. And if you decide to fight really hard, I'm going to let you fight for smallness. I don't have the energy or capacity to fight you. I have too many people to serve. I have too many people to serve to try to spend my thought energy convincing you, one person. All right. So moving forward, here is the play that I'm teaching you all to run. Okay. So right now, many of you are renting, right? You're paying $1,000 a month, right? To a landlord. That landlord collects that $3,000. They pay their $1,500 mortgage, and then they keep the other $1,500 for their living expenses or for their single family home, right? You want to do exactly what I did, okay? And you want to buy a triplex like your landlord, right? So many of you like, this won't work, but yet you're paying rent to a landlord every single month. So you're actually experiencing the business model. You're just on the wrong side of the equation. How is it not going to work, yet you're paying rent to a landlord who it's working for? Okay. So once you purchase your triplex, now this is exactly what happened for me. I was collecting rent from the third floor and the second floor. I was living in the owner's unit for free. Okay. So that's $2,000. But watch this. Guess what? I'm no longer paying rent anymore. So now that's $3,000 in my pocket. So I take that $3,000, right? And I pay my mortgage of $1,500. So now I'm living for free. Plus I have $1,500 in my pocket. Okay. Boom. One single move. The most powerful move that you can make financially. Now with FHA, you only have to live there for 1 year. So after living there for a year, you move out, you buy the single family home that you desire. So now you put a tenant there. Now you're getting $3,000 in rent from this building. Plus you're no longer paying rent anymore. So that's $4,000 in your pocket. You take $1,500, you pay that mortgage. You take $1,500, you pay the mortgage for your single family home. And now you're living for free in the single family home that you desire. And you have a $1,000 in cash flow on top of that. So now you're being paid to live and your asset is self-sustaining. Okay. This is the play that I'm teaching you all to run. Now, how many of you believe that this could happen for you in the next 90 days? How many of you would like for this to happen for you in the next 90 days? How many of you would like to close on your first multifamily home before the end of the year? Before another year is up, how many would like to close on your first multifamily home? Okay. So if you don't believe that this can happen that fast, well, here's some people who were on a webinar just like this in the past, okay, who have closed on their home in 90 days or less. Kai, she closed on exactly 3 months to the date. She joined August 12th, closed on November 12th. Sparkle closed on a 4-family in Florida in less than 3 months. Taisha closed on a 4-family in Baton Rouge in less than 3 months. Brian closed on a 4-plex in New Orleans in less than 3 months, family. And guess what? The only difference between you and them is that they took action and they followed the blueprint that I laid out step by step by step. That is the only difference. They took action on the information that I provided and they got the result. Okay. So for my single family buyers, I see some of you are out there, my single family buyers. My single family buyers, I need you to type 625. All my single family buyers type 625. Let me see who's here. Okay, we got quite a few of you. So for all my single family buyers, the reason I'm having you type 625 is there's 6 ways to reverse yourself out of that situation. Only 2 of them require you to sell. And there's 5 ways to use FHA twice. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. There are 6 ways to reverse yourself out of that situation. Only 2 of them require you to sell your single family home, meaning that you have 4 options that do not require you to sell. And there are 5 ways for you to use FHA twice. So if you were a single family owner, or excuse me, buyer, and you have equity in that home, we can leverage the equity that is in that home to start building your real estate portfolio. Okay. If you're a single family buyer and you have equity, we can leverage that equity to start building your real estate portfolio. Okay. Right now, that equity is sitting in your walls and it's doing absolutely nothing. It's just sitting there. Okay. There are ways to access the money that is sitting in your walls, that $300,000 of equity that's sitting in your wall. There's ways for us to get that out. Okay. And then go deploy that capital and make it work for you. It's not doing anything for you sitting in the walls. Okay. We have HELOCs, we have refinancing, we have selling. Okay. There's many different plays that we can run using the equity that is in your walls. Okay. All right. Beautiful. All right. So I need to change your mindset about multifamily, about real estate. Okay. You have to learn how to see opportunities in the right way. Right. Many of you are watching shows like HETV. And I have to let you know that HETV, right, is foolishness. Your first investment property won't look like anything that you've seen on HGTV. Your first fourplex will not look like this, family. I'm sorry. So when my students are in my program, I tell them that they cannot watch HGTV. They can only watch JGTV. They can only watch me teach them. And I'm going to prove it to you. Okay. So when you look at these 3 properties, which house on this block is most valuable? Which house on this block is most valuable? A, B, or C? I think y'all got the single family. I think you understand about single families. I'm not seeing any B's. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I see some of you asking for more data. All right. Well, let me show you. This house was looked like this. And they got the work, they acquired it and got the work done for about $200,000. So it has $21,000 in equity, and it has 2 units. Okay, you see 2 doors there. House B is a single family home. It was sold at $330,000. Okay, but it only has 1 door, so it's single family, so it collects no rent. House 3 was $180,000. It has $69,000 in equity, and it's actually a triplex. It has 2 units in the main building, and then it has a 3rd unit in the back, an ADU. So guess which property I own, family? Yeah, I own C. I own the ugliest house on the block, but it is the most beautiful, it is the most valuable house. I didn't say what is the nicest looking house. I said which is the most valuable house. And based on the numbers, property C is the most valuable house. So if you watch too much HGTV, your eyes will actually lie to you when it comes to real estate. Okay? Your eyes will actually lie to you when it comes to real estate. So you watching shows like the Property Brothers, I say, screw the Property Brothers. I'm your new property brother with an A. And I'm going to keep it real with you about real estate. This is about guaranteed cash flow, not granite countertops. This is about guaranteed cash flow, not granite countertops. Okay. So I want to show you my first property in Brooklyn, the triplex that I bought. Look on the inside. Look at the kitchen. No granite countertops, no stainless steel appliances, no backsplash, no what do they call them? No gold, white cabinets with gold knobs, right? No gentrification gray paint, no tiled floor, right? This is my kitchen. But if I would have looked at this with HGTV eyes, oh yeah, the white shaker cabinets, that's what they call them, the white shaker cabinets. If I would have looked at this property with HGTV eyes, guess what? I would have walked out, said this doesn't look like HGTV. Okay. But I knew what I was looking for. And I want to make this very clear to you. My first home was not my dream home, but it made my dreams possible. My first home was not my dream home, but it made my dreams possible. Some of you are looking for your dream home right out the gate. That is not what you're looking for. You're looking for an asset that will pay for your dream home. You are looking for an asset that will pay for your dream home. Okay? So answer me this. Which side of the equation do you want to be on? You want to be a single family HGTV buyer that's looking for granite countertops, or you want to be a multifamily real estate investor that is looking for guaranteed cash flow? Do you want to buy like HGTV based on emotions, or do you want to buy based on economics? Are you looking for your dream home right now? Or are you looking for an asset that will pay for your dream home? Are you looking for a finished basement like HGTV talks about? Or are you looking to start building wealth? Which side of the equation do you want to be on? Okay. I own my single family now, free and clear, because of my multifamily real estate portfolio. My multifamily real estate portfolio pays for all of my housing and living expenses. Okay. But I didn't buy a single family home until I acquired enough passive income to cover the home that I wanted. For every expense that you have in your life, you want a multifamily real estate door, you want a rental door to pay for it. For every expense, whether that's childcare, your car note, insurance, etc. You got insurance? Let's get a door for that. You got a car note and insurance, car note or 2 car notes? Let's get a door for that. You got a food bill? Let's get a rental property to cover that. This is how you get free over time. Okay. So I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people, 763 people at this moment in time, to be exact, close on multifamily real estate all over the country, right? Over $250 million worth of real estate we have acquired collectively. Every excuse that you have, I've wiped off the table for people. But again, if you're going to argue for your excuses more than listen, then I can't help you. But if you are interested in having me hold your hand and guide you through the step-by-step process that has gotten hundreds of people to the closing table, please type yes in chat. Please type yes in chat. Okay? This is not for everyone. This is not for those who are happy paying rent. This is not for those who are caught up in the American dream that hasn't led many people to freedom. This is not for those who are on Section 8 at this moment in time. I've not helped somebody who's on Section 8 close on a multifamily home. I wish I had that testimony, but I don't. Okay. And this is not for people who make excuses. Okay. This is for people who are action takers. This is for people who are really committed to creating generational wealth, or what I like to call regenerational wealth. This is for people who aren't just on that YOLO tip and are actually trying to leave a legacy. But it's not for everyone. I told you I'm trying to help 100,000 people have $1 million in net worth, which would be $100 billion, and which would make us the 5th wealthiest family in the world. And I know that my partnership with Dr. Watkins and the B1 family is going to be critical to reaching that goal. All right. So let me ask you this really quickly. How much is rent or mortgage costing you right now? How much is rent or mortgage costing you right now? $2,300, $994, $1,400, $2,200, $1,365, $1,200, $3,200, $625, $2,500, $1,365, $2K, $1,400, $1,288. All right, I'm just gonna take what, $1,400 as the average. You want to know how much we pay in housing expense? Just us right here on this webinar. I'm gonna take $1,400 as the average. That's for 9,600. Look how much money we pay in housing expense, rent and mortgage, just us on this webinar. $10 million a year. Just us on this webinar paying $10 million a year in housing expenses to other families, to the other people who own these banks, and to landlords who are not of our community. $10 million, right? So rather than paying that $10 million to other people, I'm trying to get us to actually be collecting that $10 million every single year. That is the goal. Okay. So Do you realize the power of you just getting rid of your housing expense for the rest of your life? Do you realize that if your housing expense was just $1,000 a month, right? I showed you that single family example, $994, $1,000 a month, okay? Grown at 6% interest over 30 years would literally make you a millionaire. If we could just literally get rid of your house, you want to be a millionaire? If we could literally just get rid of your housing expense and keep that money in your pocket and you invested that $1,000 at a 6% interest rate over the next 30 years, you would literally become a millionaire off this one single action. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? Real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a get-rich guaranteed system over time. It's a get-rich guaranteed system over time, okay? This is the power of multifamily real estate. But again, I have to get you to see real estate differently, not HGTV. I need you to watch JGTV, okay? So when you look at this property, does this look like $1 million home? Does this look like $1 million home? Yes or no? Okay. Looks like a multi-million-dollar home. All right, great. This property that I showed you earlier on the webinar, does this look like $1 million home? Does this look like $1 million home? The answer for most of you is no. But when you understand real estate in the way that I teach you, you'll realize that this is $1 million home. Over the next 30 years, this home is going to pay me $638,000 in cash flow after principal, interest, taxes, insurance, capex, repairs, and vacancy rate. Literally money in my pocket. The tax savings on this property over 30 years will be $278,000 that I do not pay Uncle Sam. The principal pay down will be $225,000 by the tenant. And the appreciation at 1% over the next 30 years would be an additional $104,000 in value. So when you add those four things up, that's a $1.2 million shift in generational wealth because of this one single property over 30 years. This is $1 million home, but most of you could not see it. And because you could not see it, you didn't go out to buy it. Because you could not see it, you didn't even try to buy it. But when you understand that we're not looking for aesthetics and beauty, we're looking for assets and businesses, it will change the way you approach real estate and allow you to build your real estate portfolio off of mediocre and sometimes even ugly properties. Now, none of my properties are so ugly that they won't appreciate or so ugly that I would not live in them. All of my properties are up to the quality and the standard that if I had to, I would live in my property comfortably. But at this moment in time, I don't need to do that. And I don't ever intend to have to do that. But there are people, tenants, residents that are happy because I've increased their quality of living. I provide quality, affordable housing for over 70 people. I'm especially grateful and happy to provide quality, affordable housing for single moms in major cities who had been living under slumlords for quite some time. Literally change their lives so that they can come into a place of peace where the appliances are working, where the space is clean, where there are no rodents. Every time we acquire a property, we're typically taking it back from a slumlord who has been mistreating our people for so long. And we're elevating the quality of living for our people. This is the goal, family. We have to buy back the block, okay? So when we take that $1 million from no longer paying rent, and we added this $1.2 million that you get over time from acquiring one property the right way, this is a $2.2 million shift in generational wealth for your family off of this one single decision. Now, some of you are going to jump off this webinar and you're going to go look for another get-rich-quick scheme. I can get $2.2 million faster than that. But who said you only needed to buy one property? What if you bought one property every single year using this methodology and this strategy? What if over 10 years, you had 10 properties, they were all triplexes, and you had 30 doors paying you and your family for the rest of your lives? Okay, so if you don't have another pathway to create $2.2 million worth of generational wealth for your family right now, if you can't type something, here's my plan right now, Julian, to create that for my family. If you don't have another plan right now, then I invite you to follow my plan and my blueprint, because this one is proven. Okay. I can't guarantee you that Tesla, Apple, or Amazon are going to be here 30 years from now or 100 years from now. But guess what? I can guarantee you the most sustainable business model of all time, the number one subscription business model of all time. Guess what will be here? As long as there are human beings on the face of this earth, real estate, rental real estate will be here. And I want you to be on the right side of the equation before the wealth gap gets so wide that you are not ever able to buy any. Okay. So in chat, type try if you think you got it all figured out after watching this webinar and you can now go buy your first multifamily home the right way. Type try. If you think, okay, that was enough, Julian, I don't need anything else. You gave me the whole game and I'm ready to go do this. Okay, that's cool. I'm happy. Anybody who closes, let me know. DM me if you close and we'll celebrate. Okay. Now, type succeed if you want help, if you want me to help you buy your first multifamily home right as fast as possible without wasting time or money. Type succeed. You can go try, and that's fine. And I'm happy if you succeed without me, okay? But I know that I can get you to your desired destination, which is the closing table, faster, safer, and easier than if you go at it on your own. Okay? Now, here's the deal. If Harriet Tubman was coming on her 20th trip on the Underground Railroad down south to free you, and she has successfully helped 300 people cross the Mason-Dixon line, when she comes down to free you at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, are you going to question her? Are you going to question her? See, some of y'all are in such a space where you be like, nah, I don't really trust her. She's a woman. I think I'm gonna go left. I think I like the left path because it's less water over here. And guess what? Them dogs gonna sniff you out, and all of a sudden you caught. I've helped 763 people close on their first multifamily home. Harriet Tubman is my inspiration. She is my North Star. And I'm replicating what she did on the Underground Railroad with the above ground railroad, which I call multifamily real estate. I'm literally here right now to free you if you will follow my lead. Some of you said you've been wanting this for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years. Well, I'm trying to consolidate that time from years to months. Some of you are less than 3 months away from closing on your first multifamily home if you're really ready. If you're really ready to jump in, you have all your ducks in a row, and you're ready to make this happen. You do not have to pay rent anymore. You do not have to pay a mortgage anymore. You can have an asset that is producing cash flow that pays those things for you, that either gets rid of your rent expense or pays your mortgage for you. That is the process. And once you do it once you receive that first passive income check, rent on a monthly basis, now you get excited on the first of the month instead of sad on the first of the month because so much money is going out. You get excited because so much money is coming in. Okay. So every excuse you have, I have a way through it, around it, or over it. You say you have low income or bad credit. I showed you Gloria's story. You're going to use NACA. I showed you Luis's story, the Roll family. They all went through NACA. So if you have low income or bad credit, NACA is going to be the pathway for you to get finance. Okay. But NACA only helps you get finance. They do not help you find or finalize the deal. Okay. Getting the money is the easiest part. You thought it was the hardest part. That's actually the easiest part. The hardest part is finding the deal and getting the deal to the closing table. Okay. You already bought a single family home. I have many people who have come with single family homes, and we've either sold those single family homes or we've leveraged the equity in those single family homes to build their portfolio. Michelle was the single family home buyer. She closed on her fourplex in North Carolina. Chantel closed on her fourplex in California after selling her single family home. Now she'll be living for free in California for the rest of her life. She was not attached to the single family home. Okay. You live in an expensive market. Velveeta closed on a fourplex in Los Angeles. James closed on a 3-family in Boston. Natasha closed on a triplex in New York. Dwight and Rhonda closed on a duplex in Napa, California. The Pettigrews closed on a triplex in Cypress Hills, Brooklyn, New York. Okay. You say you don't think the methodology works? The same principles apply in an expensive market. Misha closed on a fourplex in Los Angeles. Okay. Are you a veteran? Demetrius closed on a fourplex in 4 months, at the age of 26, one of our youngest members ever. Okay. Terrence closed on a fourplex with his VA loan in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Gary bought a triplex in 6 months. Alan closed on a triplex in Baltimore. This is what Alan said. Shout out to all the veterans. Hello, Julian. I just want to thank you for the great service you provide. I learned a great deal from your detailed instruction during the past 3 months during the pandemic. And I recently closed on a multifamily property in Baltimore, Maryland on 6/17/20. The property cash flows and is in an appreciating market with built-in equity as well. I would not have had the confidence to handle the deal like such a boss without the expert knowledge provided in your course. I felt like I had the answer to the test every step along the way. Thanks again, brother, for the gateway to freedom and generational wealth. I will certainly pay it forward. Best regards, Alan. Okay. So what's so powerful about Alan's story is that Alan closed on that triplex. Okay. And then he proposed to his significant other on the 3rd floor of that property. They got engaged, they got married soon thereafter, and they gave birth to a love child. This child will never know what it means to pay rent. Okay. And what Alan said is key rings before wedding rings. Key rings before wedding rings. For those of you who are not married and just dating, you do not buy your first home together. I know that sounds romantic and it sounds cute and it sounds sweet. Oh, we got married and we bought our first house together. That literally will cut your wealth in half. What you want to do is you both separately want to buy your multifamilies first. And then once you have those multifamilies, then you go buy a home together. Because when you buy a home together, let's say a $300,000 home, guess what? That $300,000 mortgage shows up on both of your credits as $300,000. So it looks like you have $600,000 worth of debt, when the reality it's only one actual asset. Okay. So that literally just doubled some of the wealth for those of you who are here. But if you don't understand these nuances and these aspects of the game, like I showed you with changing the sequence, like I showed you with how multifamily real estate is financed and looked upon by the banks with the 75% rental credit, you'll miss out on these things. And you'll be sitting on the sidelines thinking that you can't get in the game when you could have been playing the game years ago. Okay. So veterans, you have access to one of the best loans in America, which is the VA loan, and we are going to leverage that. Yes, you can use that for multifamily real estate. Okay. In terms of couples that bought separately, Cian and Matthew, Cian closed in 5 months, and then Matthew closed on another triplex in month 6 of the program. So they ran the play perfectly. All right. And for those of you who are married, there's strategies we can use to still be able to do that. Okay. You need to invest from a distance. Okay. That's okay. Dante lives in Oakland, California, closed on a duplex in New Orleans in 34 days. The Powell family also lives in Oakland, California. They closed on a duplex in Detroit. Jason lives in San Antonio, Texas, closed on a duplex in New Orleans. Jetro went to University of Gainesville, Florida, does not live there, but he closed on a fourplex in that city. And then Elena and Aaron, firefighter family, they actually live in Los Angeles, California, closed on a duplex in Detroit. So listen, family, this is very key. Your money does not have to work in the same city as you do. Your money does not have to work in the same city as you do. So when you understand real estate investing at the level that I'm going to teach you, it opens up the entire country to you. You're not just limited to the place where you live. I own property in Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, California, and New York. Okay. I don't live in all those places. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. But because I understand this game, the entire world is open up to me. Okay. So this is the level that I want you to play at. Some of you own stock in Amazon, right? And have never been to Seattle. You own part of a Seattle-based company, but you've never been there. The same can apply when it comes to real estate. You can buy where you don't live when you understand the game at this level, okay? So I want you to get to the closing table, and but I need you to understand the urgency, okay? If you continue to wait, hesitate, and procrastinate, and not get educated, what's going to happen is rents will continue to rise, which makes it harder and harder for you to save. How many of you did rent rise in the past 12 to 18 months? How much did rent rise for you? How much did rent rise for you in the past 12 to 18 months? $90, $200, $300, $275, $450. And guess what? You couldn't do anything about it. You were stuck. Okay. So every time rent rises by $300, where is that coming from? Your boss isn't saying, hey, I see that your rent went up by $300. I think I should pay you $300 more per month. No, it doesn't happen like that. So then that makes it harder for you to save money. And while it's harder for you to save, prices of real estate will continue to rise, which makes it harder for you to buy. And so there will come a point where if you don't take action, if you don't do something different, you may never, ever own multifamily real estate. This is the cost of procrastination. Because you waited, hesitated, procrastinated, and you did not get educated, you end up putting yourself in a position where the prices of real estate get too high and you can't save enough that you end up paying rent or your mortgage for the rest of your life when you could have had an asset doing that the entire time. So I want to show you the route to success. It's basically 4 stages. All right. So the first thing I want to give you is the multifamily master plan. And this is where I will guide you step by step and teach you everything that I know about multifamily real estate investing. Today, we were only able to scratch the tip of the iceberg, but there's so much more that I have to teach you that I cannot teach you in this short amount of time that we have. And so the multifamily master plan is a step-by-step process and curriculum to guide you through it. And it's the same curriculum that all 763 of my students who have closed have went through. The next step that makes this program different is that we have a network of national lenders that we pair you with, that we vetted, that give our members the best rates and terms on their mortgages. You do not want to get caught up in a 30-year relationship with a predatory lender. See, some of you believe that the lender that gives you the lowest interest rate is the best lender. That is not true. Okay. Lenders can stack on all kinds of other fees and actually deceive you by leading with the lowest interest rate, but getting other money out of you in other ways through closing costs. Okay. So you have to understand how to compare lenders, and we actually provide you with some of the best lenders in the entire country so that you can get the lowest interest rate possible and the most money possible. Okay. Step 3 is that we have a network of certified agents all across the country. Okay. These are agents that actually have gone through the multifamily master plan curriculum. They know what the 23 numbers are to evaluate a multifamily real estate deal. They know what the 33 signs of gentrification are. They have built their real estate Rolodex, right? They know how to find off-market deals. So I've trained them, and now they serve our students in that market. So for those of you who are real estate agents, okay, once you complete the curriculum, you can actually become a certified agent in your market, and you can grow your business through the members that we have there. Okay. So that is an opportunity for those of you who are agents and want to grow your business. For you all, this could be an education expense that you get to write off for those of you who are actually in this business. And then you can become a certified agent and go from there. Okay. And then finally, we have an online technology called the Purchase or Pass Deal Analyzer, where we actually share deals with one another, right? The most powerful form of deal in real estate investing is not sharing listings, it's sharing off-market deals. And we have a technology that allows us to do that. So the multifamily master plan course is going to teach you 5 things, right? It's going to teach you 1, how to finance the deals, all of your different lending options, and how to make lenders compete to get your interest rate down. Okay. We're going to teach you no money down programs, low money down programs, how to get money as an investor, right? And then how to make lenders compete for your business so you get the lowest interest rate. Then in module 2, I'm going to teach you how to find deals. I'm going to teach you how to set up, build your real estate Rolodex to find off-market deals. I'm going to teach you how to run the numbers in the Purchase or Pass Deal Analyzer and evaluate deals to get to cash on cash return. Then in module 3, I'm going to teach you how to finalize deals. How do you negotiate once you actually have the contract? How do you get the price? How do you get a $30,000 price reduction off that property using the negotiation strategies that I teach you, right? So that now you are under contract for $300,000, but you end up closing on that property for $280,000 or $270,000. Module 4 is fix it. I'm going to teach you how to structure, how to find contractors, how to hold contractors accountable. What are the strategic fixes that you can do to a property to force appreciation, right? And which ones you should do immediately and which ones can wait for later. And then in module 5, I'm going to teach you how to fill that property up. How do you find the best tenants? How do you market? How do you vet them, right? And then what are the different business models that you can use to run for your property? Are you going to do market rate? Are you going to do Section 8? Are you going to do Airbnb? Are you going to do pad split, right? And how do you evaluate which is going to be best for you, right? So in order to get access to all of this, right? I see some people putting their phone numbers in chat. Family, we have not vetted anybody who is trying to promote services in chat. I'm assuming that person is just trying to be helpful, but please do not give your information, whether that is your phone number, email address, or social security number, to anybody that is promoting any service in chat. They have not been vetted by us, okay? They have not been vetted by us. I appreciate whoever that is for trying to be of service to the community. This is not the space for that right now, okay? Is that clear? Can everybody type clear if you heard that? I do not want you to get burned or scammed out here. All right? I don't know who that person is. Just because they're on this webinar, I have no clue who they are, okay? We have our own vetted list of contractors, real estate agents, and lenders. So I appreciate you. I know that person was just probably trying to be helpful, but I need to protect you all, okay? I have to protect you all, all right? Sorry about that. That's really important to me, all right? So, with that, all right, obviously our goal initially, when we started this program, Dr. Watkins and I, was to help 300 people. We've blown through that, okay? We are beyond that now, and we are seeking to expand, and we're trying to multiply that by 10 and actually help 3,000 people get to the closing table. So this is a merging of the multifamily movement family and the B1 family, with those in the B1 family who actually want to invest in multifamily real estate and make that part of their portfolio, in addition to how Doc teaches you stock market investing and stock options, okay? This program is not just on the computer. In fact, only 20% of this program is on the computer. So if you sign up for online courses before and then you've never logged in, this is completely different. So one, I'm going to give you a crash course, and you're going to be able to push through these modules as quickly as possible. I streamline this program so there's no fat in the program. You're going to go through it step by step linearly, okay? But 40% of this program is actually on your phone, building your real estate Rolodex. Real estate is a contact sport. You have to be in contact with people and properties. So another 40% is going to be you actually out in the streets. This is an experiential learning process. So every single week, you're going to have an actual challenge to do. So you just won't be sitting at your computer just watching JGTV. No, you're going to be out in the field. Okay. Again, real estate is a contact sport. So we'll start off with your financial house cleaning challenge, then your lender shopping challenge, then your pre-approval challenge, then your real estate agent challenge, then your neighborhood knowledge challenge number 1, then your deal a day challenge number 1, then you're going to go into your real estate team building challenge, then you'll do the new neighborhood challenge and the deal a day challenge over and over and over again until you close on your first property. Okay. So you will literally have to get up from your computer and go do something every single week. You will not just find real estate deals sitting behind a computer. It is a contact sport. Got to be in contact with people and got to be in contact with properties. So how is this program different? How do I hold you accountable? Why have so many people succeeded in this particular program, right? Because I knew and realized quickly that this was not just about the transfer of information. As I said before, when Dr. Watkins introduced me, 40 million people have bought copies of Rich Dad Poor Dad, but 40 million people have not bought real estate. Why? Because there's a knowing doing gap, okay? And with my awareness of that, I made sure that this program is not just the best information, but that there's an accountability structure to make sure that you implement the information. The truth alone will not set you free. Acting on the truth will set you free. So every week we have our weekly deal room calls, okay? This is where I coach you live. So you can sign up and say, Julian, I want you to evaluate this deal with me. Julian, I have equity in this single family home. I want you to help me identify the best play for this. Julian, I'm having issues with my agent. How should I approach this? Julian, this clause came up in the contract and I want you to look at it and see if I should go forward with this deal. So you can literally sign up to be in the hot seat with me, and I will coach you one-on-one in the hot seat. Now, the community will be listening in. Everybody else in the Black Real Estate Investor Group will be listening in, but I'm coaching you on your specific issue. Now, if you're listening in, you're also being coached because you're understanding my thought process. You're hearing the questions that I'm asking them and the approach that I end up telling them to take, so that when you cross that bridge, you know exactly what to do. So that is every single week, with the exception of Mother's Day, Father's Day, and a holiday in Kwanzaa or Christmas, depending on what you celebrate, and New Year's Eve. Okay. So 48 weeks per year, we're going to be on weekly calls where I coach you. You can get feedback on any deal that you are analyzing. Okay. Now, next, you're going to get the Purchase or Pass Deal Analyzer. This is the financial model that I developed that I use to evaluate every single deal that I do. There are 23 numbers that you must know, right, to evaluate any real estate deal. Once you plug them into the Purchase or Pass Deal Analyzer, it literally tells you the most important number in real estate investing, which is the cash on cash return. Okay. We are typically looking for a 12% or more cash on cash return. But if you miss one single number in the Purchase or Pass Deal Analyzer, guess what? It will cost you. If you don't adjust property taxes, right? If you don't get your insurance quote, right? If you get rents wrong, you will literally be evaluating your deal based on unverified information, and it may look like it's a deal when it's actually not. So you need to be very careful, okay, when you are analyzing the numbers on a deal, so that you get the accurate cash on cash return. All right. Then from there, so all of the members will get access to this financial model that I use. Okay. You will also get the Multifamily Movement Real Estate Investor Workbook. Okay. This is a 64-page workbook, I believe, that has all of the tools that are in my head. I've literally laid them out in a workbook for you. So this is where you'll find your property evaluation sheet. Your property evaluation sheet is what you take into an open house. And literally you're checking things off, looking for hidden value and looking for hidden costs. And I've taught you what to look for. Okay. We're not looking for granite countertops. We're not looking for stainless steel appliances. Why? Because granite countertops only cost $1,500 to put in with an undermount sink. Why am I going to buy a $300,000 property based on a $1,500 countertop? A stainless steel refrigerator only costs $1,500. Why am I going to make a purchasing decision based on a detachable appliance? The 5 most important things when it comes to real estate investing, the 5 cost drivers of a home, are the foundation, the roof, and then 3 things behind the walls: electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. So those are the things that we actually want to look for when we step into an open house, not the bells and whistles that they've laid out through staging and painting. Okay. Then you're also going to get a virtual ticket to the Generational Wealth Conference. Okay. This is our annual family reunion where we all come together, similar to the All Black National Convention. Okay. But they're at different times of the year. And we come together, and the full conversation is about how to build generational wealth. So you're going to get a virtual ticket to that included with your membership to the Black Real Estate Investor Group. Okay. So with all of those things together, these things are worth over $5,000, $5,497. That is the value of what I'm sharing right now and the opportunity to take advantage of, but that is not what you are going to pay today. Okay. So here are your options. Okay. Okay. How many people does this sound good to? Does this sound good to you so far? Does this sound good to you so far? All right, good, good, good. Okay. This is the #1 real estate investor training in the entire country. Okay. You can go spend the next week looking for somebody who has created more results than me, and you won't find anybody. Okay. So here are your options to join. Option #1 is going to feel free, but it's going to cost you the most. And that is you do nothing. Okay. So you do nothing. As I shared with you before, rents will continue to rise, which makes it harder for you to save. And then the prices will continue to rise, which makes it harder for you to buy. right? So you think you might be saving money because you don't decide to join, but it's ultimately going to cost you. And every single month that you pay rent, guess what? It's costing you. Every month that you pay rent or mortgage, it's costing you. That's money going out the door that did not have to go out the door because you didn't know this information. All right. And so I already shared with you that if you allow the interest rates to continue to rise, right, because you didn't take action, it's going to cost you $145,000 more when you finally decide that I'm going to take action. That's real hardcore money. This program does not cost $145,000. Okay. In fact, I'm trying to save you $145,000. All right. So in addition to all of that, right, I'm also going to be giving you these are graduation gifts, by the way. Okay. We want to focus first on you closing on your first home, right? The first bonus is the fuel it module. And this is where I'm going to show you how I scaled my real estate portfolio from 1 property to 10 properties. I literally walk you through every single deal, how I got my first deal, how I found it, the business model that I ran there, how long it took to get to the second deal, how I used equity from this deal to buy that deal, why I sold this duplex to get this fourplex, how I used 1031 exchanges, how I use HELOCs, how I scaled up my real estate portfolio. So I'm literally showing you how to get to your 40 doors, right? We're not looking for 40 acres and a mule. We're looking for 40 doors. And that's what the Fuel It module will show you, okay? If you don't think that this is possible, one of my students, Julius, has closed on 17 doors to date. And guess what? He was not even a U.S. citizen. Okay, he said, my wife and I are not U.S. citizens, not yet, but we are very grateful to announce that we closed on a 6-unit multifamily home today. It's such an honor that we now provide decent and affordable housing to 17 American families across 3 states and look forward to doing more. Okay, so together, they've acquired $2.65 million worth of real estate in about a year. Okay, Jimmy closed on 21 doors. He said, thank you, Julian Gordon. Our goal was 50 doors, and we're already halfway there in 1.4 years, controlling over $1.9 million of real estate. Didn't need an MBA to get the next million. See, some of y'all are going back and investing in formal education. We call that liberal arts education. Liberal arts education that will cost you. Some of you still have student loans right now, okay? Because it has cost you. Some of you are in careers that have nothing to do with your majors. What we're teaching you at the Black Business School is liberation arts education. How many of you are about liberation? Everybody type that. Liberation arts education. Liberation arts education. Okay? That is what we teach in the Black Business School. We teach you how to get free. Liberal arts education will cost you. Liberation arts education will free you. Okay? And we know, especially with Dr. Watkins being in the higher education system, we know that liberal arts education has burned you. And so some of you are hesitant to invest in yourself and education, but it's the type of education that you've invested in that burned you. It's not education in and of itself. It's the type of education that you invested in. And we have designed a school, and in particular this course, in such a way to get you to freedom. This particular program is focused on getting you to rent and mortgage freedom. I'm also going to give you the REI Tax Secrets program, which is how to set up your finances so that you can take advantage of all the tax write-offs that real estate offers. I showed you before how that 1 property is going to yield or save me from paying the government $278,000 over the course of the next 30 years. I'm also going to give you my Airbnb overnight success program. Okay. This will show you how I built a 6-figure Airbnb business. April is one of our members, and she actually retired off of 2 properties using Airbnb in every unit with the exception of the one that she lives in. Okay, so you're going to get access to that as a graduation gift once you close on your first property. And I'm also going to give you lifetime access to the Purchase or Pass Deal Analyzer, which is the online technology that we use to evaluate all of our deals and share off-market deals with one another. This is what it looks like on the back end. This is the technology that I developed. Okay, it is nowhere else available. You can't find it. Okay, it is only for members of the multifamily movement in the Black Real Estate Investor Group. This is where we share off-market deals with one another. This is also where you will connect with other members in your market. Okay, so this is not just some online community. This is actually an offline community as well. So if you feel alone on this journey, you're the only one in your family that gets it. We have market meetups all across the country. Okay. This is Atlanta, St. Louis, the Bay Area, Dallas, New Jersey. So whatever city you're in, and I know you typed your cities in earlier, we have market meetups in almost every major market where you actually will go visit properties with other members. You'll find an accountability partner with another member who is there to get to the closing table together. This is not just some Facebook group and some online community and some video module. This is a real family and community in real life. This is B1 in real life. Okay. And then for those of you who have been worried about your credit, we're going to give you the credit mastery course with Casley Johnson. This is not a graduation gift. You actually get this immediately, okay, so that you can actually boost your credit by 100 to 150 points. And when you do that, that actually decreases your interest rate, which allows you to get the best terms when it comes to your mortgage. All right. So when you put all of those things together, this offer that we're providing you is worth $9,734. Okay, $9,734. That is not the price of the program. It's not even close. Okay, and so here's the reality. Okay, you say you don't know where to start. We're giving you the multifamily master plan, which is the A to Z process to close on your first multifamily home. Okay, you feel alone on this journey. We're giving you access to the entire community. We have our weekly Durham calls, which is where you'll get accountability. We have the market meetups that are there, right? And you get to bring your family on this journey with you in terms of the family that lives in your household. So you don't have to be alone on this journey. How many are sitting at a computer alone right now? How many are sitting at a computer alone right now? Okay. So here's the thing. You realize that all the world's most successful people, they move in packs. Jay-Z and Beyonce, Hewlett and Packard, Steve Jobs and Wozniak, Bill Gates and Ballmer, right? Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, right? All the world's most successful people, they move in packs. But here you are trying to do it all by yourself. Has it ever crossed your mind that the reason you aren't as successful as you desire is because you've been trying to do everything on your own? You have nobody to lift you up. You're always the one pouring down into other people, but you have nobody to pour into you, right? You have nobody who's equally yoked to you. And that's actually what's stunting your growth. And so now you get to be part of a community of hundreds of other people who are on the same journey as you and want exactly what you want. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody because they'll already be speaking your language, okay? So you're not that good at math. You failed at math in high school. You don't have to worry about that. With the purchase of past deal analyzer, I'm going to walk you step by step through how to use it. And I'm going to show you that you just put where to find the numbers, okay? How to find them fast, plug them in the purchase of past deal analyzer, and the financial model will actually do the math for you to give you cash on cash return, all right? You need help with your money beyond real estate investing. This is where the Generational Wealth Conference comes in, and you get the live stream ticket to that. You already bought a single family home. I'm going to show you how to use the equity in that home to actually build your portfolio. Do you need an LLC? Some of you were asking that earlier. No, you do not need an LLC. NACA and FHA and VA do not finance LLCs. They only finance individuals. But you do need to set up your accounting properly so that on your Schedule E, you can write off all the expenses that are associated with that multifamily home, okay? Prices are too high where you're at. That's where the Airbnb Overnight Success course comes in so that you can get sometimes 3 times what you would get from market rate rents. And then if your credit is bad, you're going to get Casley Johnson's credit mastery course to boost your credit score. So we're giving you everything you need to succeed on this journey, okay? It's not just the real estate. Some of you have to handle other things before you even get to start the real estate. And we're giving you access to everything that you need to succeed, all right? So with that, at the Black Business School, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And so, look, you get to join the family. You get to test it out for 30 days. And if it's just not a fit for you and it's not what you thought, then guess what? All you got to do is email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. Say, I don't want this anymore. No questions asked. Here's your money. Wish you the best. Hope you can go execute on your own. Okay? So there's no risk involved. You literally get to come dip into the pool, get to put your big toe in and come fill it out. And I think that over the next 30 days, we're going to blow your mind. You are going to be absolutely enamored with the community. You are going to be steps closer to your actual goal, and you'll want to ride this out until you get to the closing table. All right. So you are literally just one deal away from starting your journey. This was my first property in Brooklyn, New York, and it changed the financial trajectory of my life. And once you close on that first property, you're going to want another one and another one and another one. And this is how wealth gets built over time. You get that first property like a domino effect. Then you're going to want the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. So with that, if you are ready to join, you can join at theblackreigroup.com. That's theblackreigroup.com. You can go to theblackreigroup.com to join. Actually, let me put the HTTP in there so it comes up as a hyperlink for you. There we go. BBS team, can you put the HTTP in there so it comes up as a hyperlink for them? All right. So you can join right now. And we are only looking for 50 members to take in right now. There's hundreds of you on this webinar watching it at this moment in time. So go ahead and click that link and get in, right? Don't wait, don't hesitate, don't procrastinate. It's time to get educated. It's time to learn this information. And literally some of you are less than 90 days away from crossing what we call the Mason-Dixon line, or the line to rent and mortgage freedom. And if you trust me and allow me to guide you, I can get you there. I've helped hundreds of people do it. There's nobody in this country who teaches this better than me. There's nobody who's going to give you the accountability structure and mechanism and community and coaching that makes sure that you succeed. And that's what I'm here to do. I have a goal. I have a purpose to create the wealthiest Black family in the world. 100,000 people with $1 million in net worth. I'm committed to that vision for the next 30 years. I believe that it will not take 30 years. And I believe that there's some people in this room right now who are going to be part of that family. And if that is you, I would love for you to say yes to yourself, to your last name, and to your legacy. So with that, we are done. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just thank you for being here. You took the first step to just be here. You showed up. Now, are you going to show up and actually turn the information into action? Again, the truth alone will not set you free. Acting on the truth will set you free. I could be anywhere doing my own thing right now. In fact, I didn't even have to share this information. I could have built my own portfolio, right? And just kept this a secret. But my purpose said that go share this information with other people. And I'm so glad that I have, because I know that my life is causing generational wealth and creating generational wealth in the lives of hundreds of others, and soon we'll be at thousands.
All right, Brother Julian, thank you so much for your time tonight. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah, so let's give Julian Gordon a round of applause. For those who don't know me, I am Lawrence Watkins. I am the chairman of the Black Business School. I used to be one of the co-founders and chief operating officer back in the day, but I've taken a role as a full-time investor now in many ways. But I'm very happy to see everyone here tonight. And what Julian is sharing out to you all cannot be replicated, cannot be duplicated. He is truly the best in the game at teaching our people the real estate game, especially the multifamily real estate game. So we're very happy, as always, to have him as a longtime partner and much more importantly, a longtime friend with the Black Business School and me personally as well. Yes, sir. Yeah. So we're going to get to some of your questions here tonight. So we'll answer as many questions as we possibly can. So we have almost 100, I think, open questions at the moment. So I don't know if we'll be able to handle all of them. But if for some reason we are not able to handle your question or answer your question, please just reach out to support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That is support@theblackbusinessschool.com. Also, please put your question in the Q&A area and not in the chat, because chat moves way too fast for us to ever answer those questions that are there. So please put them in the Q&A area. So the first question, I got this question quite a bit. Phyllis wants to know, I really want to share this webinar with some family members. Can we please get a copy?
We should have the replay up. We know that some people couldn't get in because the room was full, and some people just couldn't make it. So that did register. So we're gonna put the replay up tomorrow. So keep your eyes out open on your email tomorrow for the replay. So we'd be happy to share it. We want you to share it. We want you to get this information out to as many people as possible. So yes.
Phyllis also wants to know, can two parties purchase a multifamily together, live in one unit each, and both still qualify as owner occupied?
Two parties. We encourage you to acquire separately because we never want two people on one loan. Okay. Our default, I think if I'm understanding the question correctly, we never want two people on one loan. So we encourage you to get both parties financially sound, doing the financial housekeeping, which is in module 1, to get them ready to acquire separately, because it'll be harder to build your wealth if you are both attached to that loan for 30 years. So we encourage you to try to acquire separately first.
Gerald wants to know, what if you want to be a long distance investor? Will this require travel? If so, how frequent?
Will it require travel? So before investing in New Orleans, I traveled there several times. Before actually investing there. So yes, I encourage you to go to the market that you are seeking to buy in. But once you find a real estate agent that you trust there, who has an investor mindset, that can free you. So I don't travel to all the markets that I invest in at this moment in time, because my either real estate agent or property manager, and sometimes that's the same person, I trust to execute. Like my property in Oakland, I've never been inside my property in Oakland, right? I've never been inside of it because I trust my real estate agent, who is also my property manager. I saw the deal. He sent me the deal via the internet, moved on it, closed on it, and I've never been inside of it. So, and that's actually the best type of investing, because that's actually passive income. For a lot of people, when they get too involved in their property, they're dealing with semi-passive income. They're fixing toilets and things of that nature. We actually want to get our portfolio to a state where it is actually producing income without any involvement from us, because that's the type of asset and system that we can pass on to the next generation.
Is this program doable for someone who works full-time? And is there a discount for couples?
Oh, great question. So, yes, you do not have to be a you don't have to quit your job to be a full-time real estate investor for this program. We encourage you to commit 4 hours per week. 4 hours per week to this program. So if that is 1 hour a day on weekdays, if that is in my Saturday morning, I'm going to go through the modules and do what I'm supposed to do. If I'm going to split that up over Saturday and Sunday, then it's only 4 hours a week to get through this program in 12 weeks to get through the curriculum. In terms of a discount for couples, no, there's one fee, but you and your partner get to join the weekly deal room calls together. So, if you consider that a discount, then yes, because you're both getting access to the curriculum. So you don't have to buy it separately.
Amario wants to know, I have an empty home that I want to, set up with Airbnb. Do I have access immediately to the Airbnb part of that?
Yes, when you join, you can ask for immediate access to Airbnb, given that you already have a property and you want to learn how to run the Airbnb play there. So we will make an exception for you, given that you already have a property to run the play in. Typically, the Airbnb Overnight Success Airbnb course is a graduation gift for you once you close. But since you already have a property, we can make that exception for you. So you'll just email support@theblackbusinessschool.com once you get in, and we'll be able to give you access to that right away.
Nana McGee wants to know, I am looking for a multifamily unit with 3 bedrooms. Is that possible?
Yeah, so the structure of my multifamily in Brooklyn was a 4-2-3. It was 4 bedrooms on the first unit, 2 in the second unit. Actually, it was a 4-1-3, excuse me. It was 4 bedrooms in the first unit, 1 bedroom in the second unit, and 3 bedrooms in the third unit. So yes, four bedrooms is rare, but 3 bedrooms is possible. It just depends on what market you're in, and what neighborhood you're looking in, because the lot sizes will actually determine the square footage of the unit and determine whether or not there could be 3 bedrooms there. But again, at the end of the day, some of you who have bigger families, like, oh, I can't fit my family into that won't work. Listen, it's only a 1-year commitment. Okay. So if you use FHA, you only have to live in the property for 1 year. So if we're going to sacrifice as a family 1 year to build wealth for the next 29 years and on from there, then we can do that. And if you think that you can't do it, I'll put it to you this way. Next door to my property in Brooklyn, a similar, almost identical house, there was an Asian family that moved in. They moved into a Black neighborhood, and they moved 2 Asian families into the same size unit that I was living in. They moved 2 full Asian families into the unit. And guess what? 1 year later, the second Asian family had bought another multifamily down the street. So other cultures are willing to make the sacrifice, but for some reason we're in, oh, I need my space, I need my own bedroom, this and that. These are some of the short-term sacrifices that we have to make to create long-term wealth. But if you want to stay in your comfort zone and you're not willing to make those sacrifices, I mean, you're going to make a sacrifice anyways, because you're going to sacrifice by not owning. You're going to sacrifice by paying a mortgage. You're going to sacrifice by continuing to rent because you don't want to sacrifice 1 year of downsizing. So the sacrifice is going to happen either way. It's just you determining which type of sacrifice that you want.
I just want to take a quick moment to congratulate all the people who have joined the course in the last 7 or 8 minutes since we opened the doors. I think we
already
about 8 or 9 folks so far. So thanks and congratulations to Sonia, Morgan, Lee, Maria, Dante. This one does not have a name. It's Mr. MR. Maybe that's the initials. Isis, Arturo. Thank you all, Anthony. Thank you all for being a part of the multifamily movement, and congratulations. You're a part of a movement that we truly believe is going to change your life. So thank you so much. And that was in the past 8 minutes, y'all. So just let you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I am in. So Kath wants to know, I'm in Canada. Do you have info for here?
No, we don't. I only teach what I know, and I only teach what I've done. So I have not invested internationally yet, and I don't know all the laws in Canada. I mean, I'm pretty certain that real estate works very similarly nationwide, but one of the key things in the United States is the access to the FHA loan or the NACA program, and because that's low down payment. In some other markets, some European markets, I know that the down payment is higher. So but rent, if you're paying rent in Canada, then there's a landlord who's benefiting from the rent that you're paying. So I'm sure that the general model works, but in terms of the down payment assistance, the low down payment assistance, I don't know the programs for Canada. So you can come and learn the principles of real estate investing, but we don't have details for programs in Canada.
All right, just to let you know, if you post a question in the chat, we probably won't be able to see it in time and answer it. So please post all questions in the Q&A. We'll get through as many of them as we possibly can. As I mentioned, we have quite a few questions up here in queue, but we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can over the course of the next few minutes. Let me see. Oh, Charles wants to know, I filed a 5-year Chapter 13 on 12/21, so December 2021. Will this program work?
It requires you can't get finance until 24 months after discharge. So wherever you are in your process, it usually takes about 24 months, 2 years after discharge in order to get finance for a multifamily home.
Wanda wants to know, what is the amount of the program again?
All the details are at the Black Real Estate and Investor Group website. So click on the link. There's actually 3 payment options there. So click on the link and scroll to the bottom and you'll choose the best option for you. Okay.
So Eric wants to know, I purchased one property with my VA, my home 2 years ago. Can I use the VA again for a multiplex?
If you still have VA benefits left, yes, you can. You'll have to, I don't know your details. So whoever your program advisor is, see if you have any benefits left. A VA does require you to live in the property, so you may have to, we have to figure out what the narrative is going to be to explain why you want to acquire a different property elsewhere and move into that property without selling the initial property. So those are the kind of things that I would coach you on in the hot seat.
Layman wants to know, can I use this program to control single family rental property in a small market?
Yes. Anything is a single family can still be a rental. We like duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes because of the volume. But if a single family is cash flowing and the money in the home is working at over 12% cash on cash return, then a single family in a smaller market works. I have some smaller single families in Baton Rouge. Literally bought a single family for $25,000, right? But the rents on it are $800 a month, right? So when you actually run the numbers on that, the cash on cash return is crazy, right? So this is yes. So single families apply, especially when we're talking about those smaller markets that I think you're talking about.
Armantha wants to know, is there a discount for individuals on the call tonight?
For people who are on the call tonight?
Yes.
There's no specific discount for those who are on the call tonight, but you do save a significant amount when you pay in full. So when you go to the page, we have one option for a full pay option for $2,499. Okay, so there's a full pay option, and that's going to be the greatest. That's going to be the greatest benefit for you. Because the other option is $299 per month for 12 months. So the full pay is going to save you over $1,000. The full pay is going to save you over $1,000. So we encourage you to take advantage of that. And also with the full pay, you get access to everything immediately. Whereas with the monthly pay, your modules will be dripped to you as you go through the program. And if you already joined and weren't aware of that, you can reach out to the Black Business School, support at theblackbusinessschool.com, and you can upgrade and pay off the balance if you would like access to everything faster so that you can get through the information, the modules faster.
Right. And also, so this offer is not always available
Correct.
at the same time, right? So what are we running this to? Till Monday or Sunday night? What's the normal on
Sunday
that?
at midnight. Sunday at
So
midnight.
Sunday at midnight. But if you want to join the deal room call, you have to sign up by call it Sunday at 4 p.m. Or something like that to give us room or give us space to actually add you to the call on the Zoom information for that as well. All right, that's not a question, that's a comment. Okay, so my mother and I moved into a house together. Would I still be able to qualify for an HFA loan even if I don't have a history of paying rent?
Yes, yes, you will. As long as your savings are strong enough and your income is strong enough, what I do encourage you to do is start paying your mom monthly, just via check, so that you have evidence of your ability to actually pay rent, so that you show some sort of consistency. Because what a lender wants to see in terms of financing you for 30 years is not only the consistency, they want to see the consistency of your income and your consistency of your ability to pay some sort of housing related expense, whether that's rent or a mortgage. So that'll just add to the quality of your profile. So yeah, I encourage you to just have some sort of transaction with your mother to show that even with me paying a housing expense from my income, I'm still able to sustain myself.
Someone writes, hello, I am in Kentucky, but reading the NACA site that they're only located in certain states. Could I still use this program if I'm a Kentucky resident and NACA's not there?
Yeah, I mean, you still have FHA and conventional, but NACA, to my awareness, is nationwide. To my awareness, NACA is nationwide. I have not heard that NACA is restricted to certain states. So please revisit that, but you still have FHA, which is definitely national. And then we have a conventional loan, which is going to be either 3 to 5% down for a conventional loan.
Will you get full access to the program if you do the payment plan? So I think you answered that question. Full access to the program immediately comes if you buy the one-time payment option. But
Okay.
if you are on a payment plan, we will be dripping out the content to you over the course of what is it, 3 months, Julian?
Monthly, so it's a lot slower. So with the 6-month payment plan, you'll get access to everything faster. And then the monthly payment plan, that's the slowest drip schedule. So if you're really hungry and you're trying to do this as quickly as possible, then we encourage you to do the full pay. But if you don't have that, you just need to get your feet wet right now, then we understand. And you have to do what's best for you.
All right. Is building a new multifamily less desirable than buying an existing one?
It's not necessarily less desirable. It all comes down to the numbers, but in terms of the skill set required and the difficulty of financing, and that's going to be a harder play to run. One of the things that is a hybrid between those is the FHA 203K loan, which allows you to acquire a home and get rehab money from the lender to actually force appreciation. So let's say you found a fourplex that needs some work, you acquire it for $300,000, you get an additional loan for $50,000, and then you force the appreciation to $400,000. So now you're stepping into $50,000 of equity, right? Because you not only got finance to acquire the home, but then you also got finance for the construction. That loan, your mortgage is going to be based on $350,000. So they combine with the FHA 203K, they combine the acquisition price of $300,000 and the rehab price of $50,000, right, into one loan at the end of the day. And so the goal of the FHA 203K for you is to be in for acquisition and rehab for $350, but based on the fixes that you do, that house be worth $400.
All right. How long do we have access to all of the content?
You have lifetime access to all of the content, but you only have 2 years of access to the coaching. So we do not allow you to procrastinate here. So the coaching, you have a 2-year window. And the only reason we did a 2-year window, family, is because of the people who join who are dealing with bankruptcy. So I told you that bankruptcy, chapter 11, 13, bankruptcy requires 24 months after discharge. That's the only reason we did 2 years. Otherwise, we'd have did 1 year of access. It should not take you more than a year if you're not dealing with bankruptcy.
Got it. Yes. So I want to give a quick shout out over the last few minutes. We had a few more people join. So Lasu, it looks like, Akeem, Cottrell, Sonia. Thank you all for being a part of the program, and congratulations for joining the multifamily movement, and congratulations in advance for getting your first multifamily property as well.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So I know some of you are asking, did you miss my question? We didn't miss your question. We just have 95 open questions, so we won't be able to get through every single question tonight, unfortunately. We're just trying to get through, especially the questions that many people seem to be having. So I'm answering those first. And then if you have like a one-off question specifically regarding your situation, we may or may not be able to get to those tonight. But if you have questions about the offer, questions about the multifamily movement, please reach out to support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That is support@theblackbusinessschool.com, and we can get those answered for you as well. What were the grants mentioned? Was NACA considered a grant?
NACA is not our grant. It's just a node, a low down payment assistance program. In the program, you're going to get a list of 147 down payment assistance programs that are organized by state. And so you'll go look at that list and see if there are any grant programs there that you fit the criteria for.
Latoya wants to know, when we join, are we meeting with others who are also new and at the same point of the journey we are on, or are we meeting all together?
No, it's more like a karate class where there's people who are white belts and there's people who are black belts, and we all support one another. So even in our Facebook group, our private Facebook group, I'm not the only one answering questions, because there are people who are steps ahead of you who can also guide you. So my questions, the question that you use for me, are really set aside for our weekly deal room calls, where you're like, there's a specific question. And even in the Facebook group, if you ask a question there, people will be like, that's a hot seat question. Sign up for the hot seat and Julian will answer that on Sunday.
All right. Shout out to Alex, who just joined a couple seconds ago. We're very happy to have you on board. Congratulations for being a part of the multifamily movement. Let's see. When you pay the $24.99, do you get a coach immediately?
This does not come with coaching. You don't get, there's no one-on-one coach. I coach in a group setting. So our coaching happens on the weekly deal room calls. You also have access to, if you need support, you have access to your market meetups. And then you also have access to the Facebook group where we support one another. So there's no one-on-one coaching. If we were to do a one-on-one coaching program, this program would be around $10,000.
All right. Someone wants to know, what is the best way to leverage my single family home?
Yeah, so there's a specific module in the program for single family buyers where we teach you the 625 that I told you, the 6 ways to reverse yourself out of that situation. Only 2 require you to sell, and there's 5 ways to use FHA twice. So yeah, so all of that is in the program for single family buyers. We know that there's a huge group of you, and we're happy that you have equity in that home, and we can leverage that. In some cases, if you have non-attachment, the easiest thing may be to sell the home. But if you have an attachment to that home, where you live, kids go to school somewhere, et cetera, we can tap into the equity that's in that home and use that to grow your portfolio.
This is actually a great question. What time are the meetings held, and are they replayable?
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. And then yes, all the replays are uploaded the next day.
If the live coaching ends after 2 years, will we still be able to ask questions beyond that time frame?
No, at that point, you are considered a procrastinator, and no, I'm joking with you. No, there's no access to coaching after that. You'll still be able to access the curriculum, but there's no access to coaching after that. We have to create a pressure mechanism to make sure that you take action. Otherwise, this becomes a program that you just buy and you sit on, and now it's 2 years. If you follow the game plan, if there's really the sense of urgency, it should not take you 2 years. So 2 years is our timeline. And that's even generous, honestly.
Would it be wise if I partner with someone and my partner lives in the unit?
Partner with someone and my partner lives in this unit? I'm not clear on the question.
Yeah, so I guess they go on the equity side, maybe they go in 50-50 or something like that. And then their partner lives in the unit instead of them or something. But then they wouldn't be eligible for FHA in that case. Is that right?
Yeah, we encourage you to run the play by yourself for first. Okay. Maybe you get into partnerships, and we do have a partnership agreement. But that's really for when you are investing in after you're first owner occupied, when you're investing out of state and you need to put 25% down, et cetera. That's what that's for. That's not for your first play. The money is there, family. You likely do not need to partner on your first deal. We do not want 2 people on a mortgage.
If I am not able to join at this time, will your promotion for this program come again?
It may come again once we get more people to the closing table, but it may not come again at this particular price.
Right. And yeah, so I mean, we ran a similar promotion maybe like 8 months ago. So it's not something that's very frequent in terms of us running this type of promotion for the multifamily movement. Mm-hmm. So let's see. And if your question is too specific regarding you in a very specific situation in New York or Miami or wherever, I don't think we'll be able to answer some of those questions tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, those are just expensive market questions, and the methodology works in expensive markets. Is it going to require a little bit more groundwork and a little bit more elbow grease in an expensive market to find a sweet deal? Yes. I'm gonna just be 100. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Yes, right. It's competitive in those markets. But again, I've showed you examples of people who've closed in Los Angeles, who've closed in Napa, who've closed in Boston, who've closed in Brooklyn. Okay, so it's the opportunity is there, but in some of those more competitive markets, it's going to require you to be a little bit more competitive. Period. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I was just laid off, have plenty of equity in my home. How can I get started without a job?
We encourage you to you can get started and learn the game while you're looking for a job. You're going to need consistent income in order to get financed by a bank. So despite you could have a huge savings, you could have a whole bunch of equity, but unless you have consistent income coming in, it's going to be very hard to get financed. So we encourage you to come into the family so that you can stay encouraged in this time of what may be self-doubt or what may be perceived as lack, so that you stay encouraged with people who are focused on creating generational wealth. You may even find relationships that lead you to a job, right? So that you can get back on the horse and get financed.
Are you considered a first-time home buyer if you have not purchased a home in 20 years, no longer own that property? However, your spouse owns real estate in a community property state?
Great question. Great question. Your spouse owns that I think the answer is going to be no because of the community property state. But the real question we have to explore is do the mortgages show up on your credit report? Okay, if your spouse owns and it's community property, do the mortgages show up on your credit report? That's going to be a big factor. So I can't fully answer that question at this moment in time.
If I currently don't have enough equity, how do I go about signing up for NACA? Do I need to sell?
Yeah, you're gonna need to sell. Yeah, you're gonna need to sell, and we'll just have to start over. If you don't have enough equity, it's likely because you recently bought. So hopefully there's no emotional attachment to that home. That home could actually imprison you and actually hinder your wealth building. So now that you have this education, this knowledge, if there is a little bit of equity, that may cover your closing costs to sell without you losing any money. And we start fresh and do it the right way.
All right. I see Leslie put in chat to us, and she said she just joined. I see you in here,
Yeah, I saw
Leslie.
her.
Congratulations. Yep. Alexander, great. Congratulations to you. And also Fred. Apologize for mispronouncing your name if I did so, but happy to have you on board as well. So that might be like close to 20 people who just joined since we've been having Q&A,
Yeah.
Julian.
So we're looking for 50, right? We're looking for 50 right now. So I know some people get paid. There's going to hit their account on Friday, and excuse me, it's going to hit their account. I don't know when it hits, Friday, Saturday, and then we'll have more. So how many people get paid on Fridays, and how many people does it hit on Saturday? How many?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. I was seeing if they let us know.
Okay, gotcha. They'll let us know.
Know. Does it hit on Friday? Does it hit on Saturday? Oh, some Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Can you buy if you are retired and have steady retirement income?
Yeah, if your fixed income is enough. So fixed income is great from a lender standpoint. The question is it enough? Some people have $3,000 a month in fixed income. Some people have $10,000 a month in fixed income. So it all depends on what your actual fixed income is, and is it enough for the market that you actually desire to live in? So since I don't know your market and we don't know the amount, we can't say if it's possible for you, but fixed income that's guaranteed till you die is a great thing. It's just, is it enough to buy in the market that you live in?
Sophia wants to know, are there programs available for high income earners in high competitive markets?
You can just go conventional, but there's no, NACA is still available to you. FHA is still available to you. The programs, in fact, none of those programs are income based. So it's available to you. So there's no specific program for high income earners. It's like, let's help people who already have a lot, so there's no programs there, but NACA, FHA, and conventional are available just like they are to anybody else.
Is it possible to get financing if you have a job that pays 10 months out the year and you collect unemployment the other 2 months?
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one. That is going to be a tough one. I would renegotiate that contract and have them like a teacher. Maybe that person's a teacher. That person a teacher and just hustling right now. I'd rather have them pay me less over 12 months and not go endure those 2 months of unemployment than to get paid for 10 months and then have 2 months of unemployment. So you might have to renegotiate that contract because that's going to look real funny to a lender.
What if all your income is 1099 and you own a property?
1099 is fine as long as the income is consistent and it is enough for your market. The lender is going to ask for all your tax returns. Okay. And so there's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur. I purchased my first property while I was an entrepreneur. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just really going to be around the consistency of that income. If you are in an industry where it's like seasonal, where it's like your numbers go up in the summer and then they drop off in the winter, that's going to look suspicious to a lender. That's going to make it more difficult. But if you have a business, I encourage business owners to actually pay themselves $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 every other week out of their business. So now they have personal income and the business has income. And then you can send both the tax return for yourself and for the business to the lender. And they'll take both of those into account if you have a 100% ownership of the business.
How many more questions do you want to take tonight, Julian?
Right now, let's do 3 more.
3 more? Okay. So yeah, we're going to take 3 more questions and we're going to wrap it up for this evening. And if your question was not answered and is specifically regarding the offer tonight to join the Black Real Estate Investors Group in the multifamily movement, please send those questions to support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That is support@theblackbusinessschool.com. We try to answer many of your personal questions as well. Unfortunately, we still have 89 open questions, even though we've answered many questions so far tonight. So if your question wasn't answered, I apologize. But demand is extremely high for this specific program and what Julian is actually offering with the multifamily movement.
But if your questions, we have a call on Sunday, so we really want you to get in and get orientation is on Sunday at 7. Okay. So, and then we have our weekly Durham call at 8. So we want you to get in, get acclimated. We want you to go through the orientation coursework because there is a module 0 to get you ready. So we want you to get started. Saturday is upon us and we want you to get started right away. So that's why we are encouraging you to join now. To take advantage of this, make sure that you're in that 50 because we may get to 50 before Sunday at 7. And so if you see that, if you go to that page, even though the timer may be up, the buttons may be gone.
All right. DJ wants to know, does your course cover buying from banks?
Buying from banks, no.
All right. Let's see. Okay, no, that's not okay. Trying to find one that everyone.
One that you think is common.
Yeah, I was looking for a comment. I think we answered most of the common questions. So I'm already enrolled in NACA and I'm getting an FHA loan. What other benefits does your program offer?
I told you financing is the easiest part of the process. You have no clue yet how to actually find a deal, how to evaluate and run the numbers to see if the deal is even going to cash flow for you. You have no offer strategy in terms of how to get the contract in this competitive market. You have no idea in terms of how to negotiate with the seller to get the price down. So financing is just the first step, and it's actually the easiest step. It does not teach you anything about finding the deal or financing the deal or running the numbers or figuring out the best business model to run for that deal.
All right, and let's see. This can be the last questions, and you can close us out after that, Julian. How do you deal with renters that default and don't pay?
So if you're afraid of that, okay, if you're afraid of one, it's our screening process for tenants. So I give you a detailed screening process in the property management module. But if you are afraid of that, then you just go Section 8. So 70% of my portfolio is Section 8, meaning that my rents are guaranteed. So even in the midst of COVID, right? Even in the midst of COVID, I was getting paid rent while some people weren't because they had market rate tenants. So that's how I secure and guarantee my portfolio. Now, some people have some negative expectations or negative perceptions of Section 8. You have to screen Section 8 tenants just like you screen any other tenant. And my Section 8 tenants have been great. They were literally just good people who fell on hard times. And so, and then I get paid automatically online and on time on the first of every month by the government. So if that is a fear of yours, then you may want to lean towards Section 8 or other programs, like there's programs for veterans and things of that nature to guarantee your income.
All right, man. Well, you can go ahead and close this out.
All right, fam. So listen, family. I am the #1 conductor on the above ground railroad. Harry Tubman was the #1 conductor on the underground railroad. I'm the #1 conductor on the above ground railroad. I know that I can get you the closer in the table faster, safer, and easier than anybody else in this entire country. I encourage you in the next 24 hours before the cart closes to go research who else has helped more people close on multifamily real estate than Julian Gordon. And you're going to be hard pressed to find anybody or any evidence of that. So given that, I encourage you to allow me to lead you. Allow me to lead you, because I know that this one single thing is going to change the financial trajectory of your life and allow you to become the most fruitful branch on your family tree. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a get rich guaranteed system over time. And this is just the first aspect of you building generational wealth. Generational wealth requires many different aspects, from your living trust to your whole life insurance policy, et cetera. But in the multifamily movement, right, it's not just about multifamily real estate. It is multiple families coming together to create regenerational wealth. And multifamily real estate just happens to be the first play that we're running together. As we run that play and everybody crosses the finish line on that, there'll be other plays. We do equity investments together. We bought commercial real estate together. So you are stepping into a family that is committed to building wealth. And if you didn't come from a family of millionaires, then family millionaires must come from you, and you can connect with one by becoming part of the multifamily movement in the Black Real Estate Investor Group.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining tonight. Once again, as a reminder, this offer shuts down at midnight on Sunday. So I guess 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. We'll be done with this particular offer. Hopefully we'll see you in the deal room call on this Sunday as well. And orientation starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, and right leading into that is the actual the deal room call. So we have close to 20 people already joined just since we've been doing Q&A. So we're about 40% of the way to our goal. And I think, we're going to get there, and we look forward to helping 50 new families, new individuals to get to that goal of getting the first multifamily property. Anything else, Julian?
Lawrence, you got a fast action bonus you could throw in for folks?
Man, sure I can. Let me find one
for people who joined, because somebody did ask. They said, what if I join tonight? Did I get something extra? Do you got anything in your back pocket?
Man, you got me looking in the back office real quick. Hold on one second.
Go look in the back office real quick. Go look in the back office real quick. You got anything?
You know what we could do? We could let's just throw in Boyce's mini course on stock options.
How many of y'all want to learn stock options? How many of y'all want to learn stock options? Let's
All right.
see.
Amario said he does, or she does.
All right. And how much is that program worth? How much does that sell for, Lawrence?
About $299.
All right. Add that to the bundle. Add that to the bundle. And add that to the bundle just for tonight. Just for tonight. So anybody who joins, I'm actually on West Coast time tonight. So let's give them let's give them till midnight West Coast time, and add that to the bundle for those who join before midnight West Coast time.
Great. We'll do that.
Yeah,
So
you got
Chanel,
that?
yeah, Chanel, let's take a list of people who joined tonight, and then we'll manually add that to their package. So the stock options mini course from the Black Business School. So can we? So we'll make sure that happens.
Perfect. All right, family, we appreciate you. Look, real quick to those who are left, regardless if you join or not, we wish you the best. We are committed to your wealth development. There's only so much we can communicate through YouTube videos and through Instagram videos and just to transfer information. These programs are really accountability and execution programs to make sure that you actually do what we've been telling you. And so we wish you the best. If you decide to go the DIY path, we hope that you make the best decisions. This is the biggest financial decision of your life, and we don't want you to make any mistakes in regards to it. And so we encourage you to join us in this particular aspect, because this is the most powerful single financial move that you can make for your last name. All right. Love y'all.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.